What's up, everyone? This is Riley, and this is going to be my set review for Kaladesh, but it's not any set review. This is the Unprofessional set review, and what that means is I'm not going to give a grade to stuff. I am not going to tell you how to be the spikiest guy in the world, and I'm not going to tell you what's the best and the worst. All I'm going to do is just talk about it and have fun, because one, I like Magic and I like to talk, and that's pretty much the basis of this. Oh my gosh, I ate so much pizza today. Okay, let's get into it. Acrobatic Maneuver. Basically blink it and draw a card. Pretty good, I guess. I don't know. All these fabricated effects are looking okay. I guess if you want to make a lot of servos, it's useful, but it can save a creature and draw a card. That's fine, I guess. But I don't know. It's probably something that'll be decent in pretty much any white deck that you play, either as a protection spell or a token maker, depending on what your strategy is. So we'll see. Aerial Responder, Flying Vigilance, Lifelink. Now, is this not just a straight up pretty much reprint of Vampire Nighthawk? I mean, I know that's what everyone's saying. The only difference here is that it's got Vigilance instead of Death Touch, and even though Death Touch trades up, Vigilance ain't as good, but that 4-point life swing is going to be pretty decent. But definitely a first pickable material. Aether Storm Rock. Flying. When Aether Storm Rock or another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you get an energy counter. Whenever Aether Storm Rock attacks, you may pay double energies. If you do, you get a 1/1 counter on it. And you can tap on a one-target creature defending player control. This is like a wild bomb. This is like the bombiest of bombs. Not only is it a 3/3 for 4, you get energy, you can swing in twice, make it a 5/5. I mean, oh wait, I'm sorry, you only get one. But basically, it opens you up to a bunch of energy, and if you have any kind of energy synergy, this is insane. Angel of Invention. I thought it said Angel of Intervention, but Invention is kind of crazy. And this guy's got 4 swords, so I mean, that's probably why with Fabricate 2, it's a 4/3. Because of 4 swords, give it 4 power. Think about that. Subtle, but what's cool about this thing is that it's like Flying Vigilance, Lifelink. Okay, a 4/3 flyer is pretty nice, but you can make two twos. That could be very good, especially if you're trying to make a lot of tokens. But this is insane because not only is it a threat on its own, what's cool about this card is this, is that it can be a 4/3 Flying Lifelink by itself, or if you already have a bunch of creatures, it's an Anthem effect with a 2/1 Flying Vigilance, Lifelink already. So I mean, what a that's insane. Already, white is looking good. Authority of the Council. Creatures your opponents control enter the battlefield tapped. Whenever a creature enters your battlefield under your opponent's control, you gain 1 life. Kinda hoses aggressive strategies. Sure, probably not a first pick, but hey, why not? It's only 1 mana though. I think that's kind of nice. I think it's okay. I mean, sure. But it's definitely not first pickable. I don't know. I don't think it would be first pickable. Oh, that water's so good. Aviary Mechanic. Enters the battlefield, return another permanent you control to its owner's hand. Well, with all this Fabricate stuff, seems like a shoo-in pretty easily. Also, there's a bunch of other stuff that like enter the battlefield, scry and whatnot, or draw a card. That could be pretty good too. Especially as a 2/2 for 2. That's gotta be good, right? Build to last. Okay, now I'm gonna make a quick comment about this. These combat tricks are nuts. I mean, these are getting to be out of control good. It's kind of paranoid me because now I'm gonna have to like really stress out about combat trick. We'll see how this turns out. Anyway, for 1 white, target creature gets +2/+2 until the end of turn. It's an artifact creature gets indestructible. That's pretty spicy if you have any kind of vehicles. It doesn't even say you have to attack, so what a great combat trick for blocking. How awesome is that? Consulate built automations have a lifetime warranty. Get it? Captured by the Consulate. Enchanted creature can attack. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, if it has a single target, change the target to enchanted creature if able. Interesting. What I like about this is that, yeah, it can be a 2-for-1, sort of. It basically shuts down cards, pump spells and stuff. Here's the thing that sucks about it. It can block. So if an opponent has like an instant speed pump spell, it can still block really well. It's not as much of a shutdown card as you'd imagine. Decks that are playing, I don't know, like removal, sure, like black would be fine. But then this is like, I don't know, this is not as, I don't think it's as good as it looks. I think it's kind of okay. I mean, it's decent, but I don't think it's super crazy. Speaking of super crazy, Cataclysmic Gearhulk. Vigilance, 4/5, already pretty good. When Cataclysmic Gearhulk enters the battlefield, each player chooses an artifact, a creature, an enchantment, or a planeswalker, basically cataclysmizes the board. Just like, whatever that card was with Gideon on it, he was freaking out. Oh, Tragic Arrogance, that's right. Sure, pretty good. Just hope that your opponent's creature is not a 4/5. And this is cool too because this is one of those effects where you basically just want to attack with everything, get a couple extra damage in, maybe they think something's up, and they just say, sure, I'll let it go through, or whatever, and then you just kill everything. What a sweet card. Consulate Surveillance. When Consulate Surveillance enters the battlefield, you get 4 energy. Pay 2 energies. Prevent all damage that would be dealt to you this turn by a source of your choice. Not something. I mean, it blinks too, but that's 4 mana. It's like I'd rather get a 4 CMC creature to block the damage, if you know what I'm saying, to do basic combat. So, I don't know, unless you're going like infinite energy build. Consul's Shield Guard. Enter the battlefield, get 2 energies. When it attacks, you may pay 1 energy. Another target attacking creature gains indestructible until end of turn. Dude, I'm liking this. The fact that he can attack, and then he can give someone else indestructible. Sweet, he can do it twice. That's pretty awesome. Eddy Trail Hawk enters the battlefield, get 2 energy. Whenever Eddy Trail Hawk attacks, you can pay 1 energy, and you can give another creature flying. I like this card a lot, because if your opponent doesn't have any flyers, you can make that Gear Hulk a flying vigilance Gear Hulk. It's like he threw on a jetpack and just blasted over to your side of the board, punch you in the face. That's awesome. Now, let me ask you something. How does that work flavor-wise? How does this Eddy Trail Hawk make that flying happen? Is it because of that little flare? Is this like Portal, where those little like light beams were out, and his path that he flies is the light beam that people run on to get flying? And is that what the energy is? I mean, I don't know. And these are things I need to be answered through flavor text, and they don't have flavor text. So what am I supposed to do about that? These things are important. Okay, you don't get these answers through the Magic story, okay? I need next level stuff. Fairgrounds Warden. When Fairgrounds Warden enters the battlefield, exile target creature an opponent controls until Fairgrounds Warden leaves the battlefield. Kinda good. I mean, it's kind of awesome. Basically, these Banisher Priest effects are pretty sweet, and this is like Faith Unbroken, only it's not a 2-for-1. Oh, sign me up. What I want to know, though, is what the heck is this thing he's wearing on his face? Is that supposed to be like a football mask? I don't know if that's very protective. And then what's this? What's this in his hand? Oh, those are shackles. Those are, yeah. So, yeah, definitely first pickable material. Fragmentize. Destroy target artifact or enchantment with converted mana cost 4 or less. Guess what? It's an artifact set, so this is going to be kind of good. And I feel like this being in white is going to be fancy schmancy. The only problem is that it's a sorcery, which is, I mean, okay and limited, but as far as everyone freaking out about putting this in some sort of modern format, I don't know if that's really a thing. Okay. Fumigate. Destroy all creatures, you gain 1 life for each creature destroyed this way. Interesting thing about this set, there's a lot of life gains. There's a lot of do this, gain this much life, do this, gain life equal to the number of artifacts you control. I wonder if these games are going to go longer than you'd expect because of all the life gains. So maybe it's set up so it's designed for control to gain a little more life, but I don't really know. But what I gotta say is, these little gremlins are getting all smoked out. I do think that this is going to be a very good sweeper, obviously. Not only do you stabilize the board, you gain a bunch of life. What's funny about this set already is that it looks like there's an... black already looks like it has an aggro element, and aggro looks really, really strong. But at the same time, it looks like plenty of ways to level the board, so it should be interesting. It should be like a very high power set. Gear Shift Ace. 2-1 for 2 with first strike, and whenever you cruise a vehicle, gains first strike until end of turn. Pretty awesome. Attacks early, can instant speed, give crew. So there's an interesting thing is that you can actually crew a vehicle and give it first strike and attack, and then you can have another creature crew it and attack, and if someone blocks it, you can tap it and give it instant speed first strike if you tap that creature. Fancy that, Learned that in the LRR pre-release, or maybe. But yeah, this card's sweet. I love it. All right, Glint Sleeve Artisan, 3 mana, 2/2 with Fabricate. Now you can make a 2/2 and a 1/1, or a 2/2 and a +1/+1, making a 3/3. And I think it is quite nice for the stat. I mean, it's probably the best thing so far for 3 mana that's not flying, or at least a comment. It's a very good comment, and I like this. Shine Bright, Bolts Tight. But yeah, I think this is going to be awesome, and the interesting thing about Fabricate, after looking at this set for like a little bit, is like there's definitely like I want 1/1 counter themes, and I want artifact theme. Fabricate cards pretty much go in any deck that you want to play, really. So I think that's pretty interesting. Herald of the Fair. When Herald of the Fair enters the battlefield, target creature you control gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Okay, 3/2. Somebody gets +1/+1. That's fine. But I don't know how good that's going to be. I mean, previously you saw this for 2/2. They gave us +1/+1. The Kith Kid and then the Guardian of Pilgrims or something. And they were okay. I think this is just going to be okay as well. The 2 toughness I think is kind of a turn off. We'll see how the set plays out, but I don't think this is going to be as good as Fabricate. I'd rather have either Token Generation. I would rather have that choice to Fabricate or not. I really think that 2 toughness is going to be really bad for it. And this also is one of those announcer boys on the street who just yell a lot. Impeccable Timing. Impeccable Timing deals 3 damage to target attacking or blocking creature. This was in an earlier set. It was 2 mana for 4 damage. In white, and so this is strictly worse. But I forget what that was. It's not Sandblight, but it was something along those lines. I don't know what Ajani's doing in this set, but he's busting out and he's swinging that axe and he's cutting throats, and it's a little intense. I mean, look at that. He literally, I don't know. That might not be. I don't know. I can't tell from the art. That might just be his armor clinking. And knowing wizards, it's probably not that gruesome. Inspired Charge. 4 mana, creatures you control get +2/+1. How fun is this going to be with servos and thopters? This is going to be awesome. Problem is that it's not that good of a card. It's not that great, but it is an instant, so it might. I guarantee you it's going to bail me out of some tough situation. All right, Master Trinketeer. He's trinketing it up. Lord of servos and thopters. Also, he creates servos, and you know what? He looks like Kris Kringle. Looks like good old Santa Claus, and I think that's the hidden flavor text here. I think that's the deal. Is that they were just like, you know what? We tried to submit a card to have Santa Claus be some sort of promo card. So here we are with Master Trinketeer, who is Santa Claus, and I'm going to call him Santa Claus. But Santa Claus makes little toys for children that punch you in the face. Very nice. Very flavorful. Very good. Ninth Bridge Patrol. Basically, Unruly Mob, except whenever it includes flickering. I think this is still going to be mediocre. I don't think it's going to be that good. But actually, without Token Generation, it could be a lot better. I don't know. It could be pretty sweet. Look at this guy, though. Look at this. This guy's got crazy abs. I mean, he's so, like, stout and short, but he's got, like, wicked abs. And that little axe is very small looking. Like, I don't know. I don't know what the, I don't know the flavor is here that a short, stocky, axed dwarf would benefit out of people leaving. Especially if he's watching a bridge. I don't understand. Maybe he kicks people off the bridge and it gives them an ego boost? Pressure Point. Reprint. Yes. Tap target creature, draw a card. Pretty decent in aggro decks. Pretty horrible in control decks as far as buying time. Nice reprint. Not really that functional. It's just, I'm not sure why they put this in here. Maybe because of the fact that you could tap a artifact creature. Maybe that's why. You could you could crew a vehicle, and then you could play this to sort of negate that, and now it's sort of like tapping 2 people for 1. Or this could just be, we'd add an extra card slot. Propeller Pioneer. Flying, 2/1, Fabricate, 1. 3/2 for 4, like that flying manta thing in Battle for Zendikar. Pretty good. However, you could make a 1/1, which is, sort of a theme, make an artifact, but looks pretty good. Refurbish for 4 mana. Return target artifact card from your graveyard to your battlefield. I would say I would only want to play this unless I have one of those Gear Hulks. There's no reason to buy a new one when I've got the tools to fix one you've got. Hey, that's an engineer right there. Just gotta wrench it sometimes. Revoke Privileges. Enchantment Aura. Ooh, that guy's getting arrested by some. I can't even tell what that is. Is that a machine, or does that have arms? What is that thing? So enchanted creature can attack, block, or crew vehicles. That's really a good rider, the whole crew vehicles thing, because it's not really a removal spell if it can still tap and make vehicles. Servo Exhibition. Create 2 1/1 servo colorless artifact creature token. How many adjectives do we need for that? Good, I suppose. Basically a raise the alarm, not at instant speed. Which is probably good, just because there's that one card that gets something, if it has 3 or more, it's like Metalcraft, without the word Metalcraft. It's pretty cool, and I think that's fine. And I'll say it's balanced as a sorcery. Alright, Sky Swirl Harrier. Basically swinging down and eating your lambs as a 3/4. Eating your 2/2 lamb. I'm not sure what this has to do with aethering, but I'm guessing that the green mages don't like it because it's eating their growths. Pretty good card overall. Skywither Shot. Okay, I looked at this card and I was just like, oh my god, this is so good. Instant 3 mana, just straight up just kill a creature. That's pretty good. That's better than, what do you call it? Breaking down the mighty or whatever. And on top of that, you get a scry one. Oh my gosh, these dwarves, they're pretty good. But why is there a giant whale in the sky? I mean, that is the thing. There's a lot of whales that are kicking it in the sky in this Aether Revolt. And the thing I want to know is, do whales fall when they die? or do they just dissipate into the aether? And you know what? Let me say something right now. You know what? Everyone's like ether this, ether that. It's not hard to put an AE sound onto the word as an aether. Aether. Ask anyone in like Europe. That sound happens all the time. But the point is aether is easy. It's not ather. It's not ether. It's not ether. It's aether. Tasseled Dromedary. 0-4 blocker for 1. I guess it's good, decided against aggro decks, but this is one of those vanilla cards that's just like boring. It doesn't really do anything with the set. It doesn't care about artifacts. It doesn't fabricate. I think this would be a cool card with fabricate. Be like a 0-3 with fabricate. Now that would be sick, but that'd probably be too powerful. Thriving Ibex. All these thriving cards are pretty awesome, actually. If you have any kind of energy generation, these could win you the game. I mean, yeah, there's enough bounce and there's enough kill spells to get around it, but, I mean, dang, these are good. All of them get 2 mana when you enter the battlefield, and when it attacks, you can put a 1-1 counter on it, turning into a 3-5. And then if you have any other energy generation, you can turn to a 4-6, and then a 5-7, and then a 6-8, and then it just gets out of control. And that's something that's really going to be really interesting, is how the energy management is going to work in this set, because I really hope, like, what's going to make energy a good mechanic versus a bad mechanic is if you are using your energy for different things every turn. If you keep using it on the best stuff, if you get what I'm saying, if you keep using energy on the best stuff, it's going to be a boring mechanic because all you're going to do is just always make the same decision. It's not really going to be a decision. Looks like in this set there's a lot of decisions. Fabricate, the 1-1 counter synergy is when do you spend energy. Hopefully, you know, you sort of use the energy here and you sort of use the energy there and you're kind of divvying it up and you really have to. Hopefully energy is really a relevant thing. Toolcraft Exemplar. At the beginning of combat of your turn, if you control an artifact, Toolcraft Exemplar, basically he likes artifacts. But you know what? I don't think this card's going to be good because, one, you need 3 artifacts to make him a boss. That's going to be a while. I mean, you can't fabricate like 3 on any card. So turn 1 you play this. Turn 2 you play hopefully an artifact. So it becomes 3-2, sure, that's fine. And then turn 3 maybe you have 3 artifacts, but I don't know. Trusty Companion, 3-2 Vigilance for 2 mana, and it can't attack alone. There's definitely an aggro theme here, and the 2 toughness is a little questionable, but it is uncommon, so maybe I don't know everything. Visionary Augmenter. Now this is some Gears of War shit. This is no. Matrix. This is like Matrix. Like at the end of the movie, Matrix 3, where that guy jumps in and he's shooting the guns in his shoulder cannons. But it's so dumb because you're still exposed to all the machines. So, I don't know. I don't think this is a very good piece of armor, especially when it only covers 10% of you. Face mask, at least. Okay, Dwarf Artificer, Fabricate 2. So, 2-1, make 1-1s. Pretty decent. You know, I think that's going to be good. I think it'll be good with any kind of Anthem effect. And, I mean, you could easily make a servo deck. Yeah, I'm going to make a bunch of servos and just swing it with everybody and just win through Anthem damage. The last card in white is Wisp Weaver Angel. For 6 mana, you get a 4 for flyer, already pretty decent. When Wisp Weaver enters the battlefield, exile, and then return it. You know, here's the thing. There's a lot of ETB effects, but there's not a whole lot of flicker effects. I think there's only like 3 cards that did that. And yes, 1 is uncommon, 2 are common. So, pretty decent. You know, I think that's alright. But definitely you want to have this with Fabricate or any other ETB effect. I think flying's going to be very good at this. Okay, we've gotten done with 1 color in less than 30 minutes. We got a good pace going. Let's keep it going. All right, Aether Meltdown. One thing I don't want to do is have like a 5-hour thing, mainly because I'm not going to analyze every card, but listen, I'm trying to do this on one go, and I don't want to sit there and just dawdle forever, so that's that. Anyway, Aether Meltdown. Flat. Enchanted permanent gets -4/-0, and you get some energy with it too. I think this is pretty good. Now, the thing that's interesting about this, for the cost of 1 extra mana, you don't need a graveyard versus Shazar Innistrad, Eldritch Moon, Flash, same thing. So basically, for 1 extra mana, you don't need a graveyard, you have a limit to it, it's only -4, and you get some energy. I think this is really, really good. I think this is actually better, but it's not as good in the late game, but you can drop this turn 2 and shut down an aggro creature very quickly, or even like a 4/4, like that's pretty good. Aether Theorist, 2 mana 1/3, you get 3 energy counters, and you can tap it to scry 1. This ain't no Sigiled Starfish, but it is pretty decent, and if you have a bunch of energy, it's only 1 energy, and that's pretty much free to do this. So that's good. I like that. Aether Trade Winds. Bounce 2 things, one that you own, another one owns. This is a reprint. It's very cool. It's very fun. With all the ETB effects, this is going to be kind of nice, and it's an instant So basically, if someone tries to cast something on your creature or another creature, it bounces. I think it's going to be a good card. Aether Squall Ancient Leviathan. Getting your upkeep, get 3 energies. That is a lot, actually. That's actually a more repeatable than anything we've ever seen. For a 6/6 flyer. And then you pay... Okay, this is what I don't like about energies and about the change to the colorless mana system. And what it is what is this? What is this? How many is that? You can't tell how much that is. You have to literally go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So why don't you have just like a little 8 and a little energy symbol next to it, so I can just look and say, oh, I need 8 energy. And that's why I don't like it. If you have any kind of card that says, here, you can just get mana, you know, you can't even read on the card how many it is. You have to sit there with a ruler and count as you go along. But a 6/6 flyer that bounces everything else, it's very bomby. And you can do it in 3 turns in case you have no energy. So it kind of does its own thing. So that's pretty spicy. Ceremonious Rejection, counter target colorless spell. I think this is very nice. It's very good in an artifact spell deck. And it's something that I would probably be willing to main deck. I do like how this 6-fingered freak is just like very mad at this cute little thing that is like, I don't even know what that is. It's sort of like a little shrimp or a seahorse or something. But I can see why he's rejecting it, because it's like, I don't even know what it is. I mean, what does it do? Is it just nice? We have a guy in red who literally has a fist that punches down door. And we have a dwarf that literally flies around and gives lifelink to everybody. And I can see why you'd just be like, get this out of here. This is a waste of my time. Confiscation Coup. For 5 mana, you can steal something with 4 converted mana cost, or if you're playing an energy build, pretty much anything. Gain control of it. And gain control effects are extremely good, especially when they're not auras. If they're sorceries, it's straight up a 2-for-1. It's pretty much a guaranteed 2-for-1. Curio Vendor for 2 mana, 2/1 in blue. I don't know what Wizards' deal is with these crappy 2/1 for 2 in blue. That doesn't even seem blue. I don't know why they like to print these cards, but they're super crappy. They're horrible. And the only exception I'll give with this is that it can pilot. I'm sorry, not pilot. It can crew stuff. And that's the only exception to that rule. Disappearing Act. Horrible counterspell. Unless you have like every card in your deck as a enter the battlefield effect, I still don't like it. Dramatic Reversal. Untap everything except for land. I kind of dig this. Not great. The problem is this. I'm considering this like a win more card, mainly because of the fact that if you're attacking already, then you're already big enough to get through, or you have enough evasion to get through, and if you're untapping to block their stuff, then it's like, you know, you already have a good card. But you know what I hate about this card? You know what I really hate about this card is the flavor text. Nobody asked you to butt in Jace, but thanks. Chandra Nalar. Now you're probably saying, well, but come on, man, it gives you a lot of info about Chandra and how she acts. But you know what? This is what they needed to do. They needed to just say, nobody asked you to butt in Jace. Even don't even say butt in, just be like, this is my fight. Get the F out, or something like that, right? But it's like, the but thanks is just like, so, I don't know, dumb. And I just feel like someone who's such a hothead would be like, hey, look, this is my fight. It's all about honor and that kind of thing. You know how they have those movies where the 2 samurais fight, and there's like 8 good guys and 1 bad guy, and it's the final boss, and it's like, well, we could all just gang up on him and kill him right now, but no. The main antagonist got to fight the main protagonist, and they got to duel to the end, just like, I was going to say Gladiator, but that's a little different. But anyway, the point is that this flavor text just makes me mad, because Chandra Nalar is the kind of person who would be all about that, that I feel like, and she's like, hey, thanks Jace for butting in and helping me out there. No, it's just be like, hey, look, I'm all about honor and stuff, and this is my family, it's my problems. Get out. Era of innovation. Whenever an artifact or artificer enters the battlefield under your control, that's interesting. It's artificers as well, instead of just artifacts. You may pay 1. If you do, you get 2 energies. Pay. We're here again. We're did this. I gotta count it like I'm with Count Dracula. What is this? 6. Pay 6 energies. Sack this card. Draw 3 cards. Okay, this is pretty good. Now, really, that means you only need 3 things to enter the battlefield, and you pay 3 mana. Well, 5 mana total. And the cool thing about this is that this is instant speed. So what happens is that you can just make this be an energy generation engine the whole time, and then when someone tries to blow it up or when you start running out of things to do, you can sack this at instant speed as long as you have enough energy and draw 3 cards. I mean, that's pretty sweet. Experimental Aviator, 5 mana. Okay, what's weird about this is that it is not a 0/3 with Fabricate 2. Oh, because it creates thop-thops. There you go. ETB effects. Put this in that deck. And it's uncommon, so that's kind of interesting. Failed Inspection, sketchy counterspell. Not only is a counterspell for 4, you draw a card, but then you discard a card. This is pretty heinous, right? Gear Seeker Serpent. Okay, I am saying this right now. This card is busted, and this card is going to be like common level mythic. With all the servos that are made, I mean, this could easily be a 4 mana 5/6. Think about it. You basically just make a couple of Thopters, and on turn 4, or hell, turn 5, you spend 4 mana, or 5 mana, or whatever, get a 5/6, and then you pay 6 mana and you can't block it. It is a win condition. You can basically put this in any control deck and call it a day. So I think it's going to be very good. That's just me. But you know what? Hate all you want, but it's my opinion. Glimmer of Genius. For 4 mana, instant, scry 2, then draw 2, and then you get 2. Energy. I just like the fact that it's 2/2/2. You can look at potentially 4 cards. And yeah, always think about the 3 Ps. Precious, Profound, and Perfect. But yes, I think this is going to be quite good, and I think this is going to be an awesome instant spell to play. Glint Nest Crane. 1/3 flyer. When it enters the battlefield, look at the top 4 cards of your library, reveal an artifact card, and put it into your hand. It replaces itself. It's for 2 mana. It's a 1/3 flyer. It better be uncommon. Oh my gosh. I think this is great. So, sign me up. Hide Tide Hermit. 5 mana 4/4. You get a ton of energies. You get 4 energies. That's the most we've seen in 1 card. If you pay 2 mana, you can attack as this turn as those that didn't have a defender. This is going to be great in the energy making decks. I think it's going to be excellent, and I think you're going to basically have this be a defender for the most part. Insidious Will. Now this is a counter spell I can get behind. So basically it's cool. You can either counter a spell, or you can change new targets for the spell, or you can copy the spell, and you can choose new targets for it. Now the interesting thing about this is that I like the modes, because what you can do is you either counter a spell that sucks, you can choose a new target for a spell, so you can basically turn this into a 2-for-1 against your opponent, or you can basically copy one of your own spells. I mean, how cool is that? Janjit Sentry. For 3 mana, you get a 2/3, and in ETBs, you get 2 energies. Tap, pay 2. You may tap or untap an artifact or creature. Now, it's uncommon. It is very expensive to do that energy. 2 mana to tap or, untap. Alright, now we're talking, I think that's pretty decent. With that, it could be quite nice. Longfin Skywhale. Now, look at this. I've been waiting for this for a while. So they make all these different Vaporkins, or Welkin turns, where it's a 2/1 flyer for 2, that can only block creatures with flying. What about the 3/2 for 3, that can only block creatures with flying, or the 4/3 for 4, I'm saying a lot of 4s, the 4/3 for 4, they can only block 3 creatures with flying. Very nice design space. Very happy for that. Thank you very much, Wizards. The Aether Sphere is home to the most wondrous beings of all of Kaladesh, although the dangers of traversing it mean that not much is known about them. It's kind of like the ocean that we live in. Ooh, how sick would that be? An underwater magic set. That'd be so cool. Malfunction. Enchant artifact or creature. When malfunction ETBs, tap enchanted creature. Doesn't untap during control's untap step. That is for 4 mana. It's basically a sleep paralysis. Wasn't so great in Shadows over Innistrad. Probably is better here because you can completely shut down a vehicle. Metallurgic Summonings is busted. Feel free to just win when you cast that if you don't have any enchantment hate. Minister of Inquiries. ATB. 2 energy count. Tap pay. Mill 3. I don't know what the point of this card is. There's no other mill in the set. There's really not a whole lot of graveyard synergies. There's not a whole lot of graveyard action. But it's like, I don't really get what the point of this guy is. I would really only want to have him as like a 23rd energy generator. And I would never mill. And he just is a 1/2 that might trade for some aggressive card. Nimble Innovator. For 4 mana, 2/2, ETB, draw a card. This would go good in the Flicker effect deck. This is cool because this can be an instant speed 3 mana with that exile card. This can be an instant speed 3 mana draw 2. That could be interesting, but Flicker effects, things like that, could draw you an extra card. 4 mana for a 2/2, you're really paying 1 extra mana, I think, for the setup. But not bad. Could trade. You know, it could be very good, I think, as a common. All right, here we go. Padim, Consul of Innovation. Yes. 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 Very much so. Alright, for 4 mana you get a 1/4. Artifacts you control have hexproof. Yes, yes. Very good, very good. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control the artifact with the highest converted mana cost or tied for the highest converted mana cost, draw a card. Impress me. Yes, I'm very impressed. So this is very similar to Abzan Beastmaster, only it cares about converted mana cost instead of toughness. Paradoxical outcome. 4 mana. Return any number of non-land, non-token permanents you control to their owner's hands. Draw a card for each card returned to your hand this way. I don't think this is very good. You're giving up board position for cards, so you're filling your hand up with even more cards in your hand. Like, I don't really get the payoff. I don't get the point. However, it is an instant. Therefore, for all these crappy cards that, all these board sweepers, there's actually a ton of board sweepers in the set, I'll be honest. So for all the board sweepers, that's what this is for. You want to put this in a deck where you have a lot of fragile creatures, and then you keep the mana open, so when they decide to play that crazy demon thing that I will get to eventually, you basically can save all your creatures. It's going to be wonderful. Okay, Revolutionary Rebuff. Very interesting counterspell. Non-artifact spell unless a controller pays 2. I'm a big Convolute fan. The 4 is a big deal. 2 is a little lax, but the non-artifact spell is kind of a big deal. So this might not be good at all. Most counter spells aren't, but if you're doing a very dedicated control deck, this could be something nice. But I dig these kind of these. Well, I don't want to say conditional, but the counter spells with a rider, where it's like very cheap counter spell as long as, you know, an opponent doesn't pay like 3 mana or something, like Mana Leak. Like Mana Leak is like a very cool card. Sahili's Artistry for 6 mana. Create a token that's a copy of target artifact. Create a token that's a copy of target creature except as an artifact. Not as good as the Steal Something card. Oh, it says choose one or both. I take this back. This is awesome. If you have a artifact creature, you can target it twice, and therefore you make 2 copies. So think about this. Think about the green Gear Hulk. Think about this. The green Gear Hulk that puts 4 1/1 counters. Copy those 2. Now you have 8 1/1 counters that you throw on all those guys. This is one of my favorite cards of the set. Select for inspection. Instant. Return target tapped creature to its owner's hand. Scry 1. So not only is it a bounce effect at instant speed, you know, albeit conditional, you get to scry 1. How cool is that? That is awesome. Shrewd Negotiation. Exchange control of target artifact you control and target artifact or creature you don't control. This is awesome because you have so many servos. You switch this for 5 mana. You switch a little 1/1 little toy, little kid's toy with a Gear Hulk or, you know, that 10/10 thing or whatever. So basically, this is a very powerful card. I think blue's looking pretty good on the steal effect. And it's a sorcery, it's not an enchantment, so that's awesome. Tezzeret's Ambition for 5 mana. It's a sorcery, draw 3 cards. If you don't have an artifact, discard a card. It's not that great. Very angry about everything. He just needs to calm down. He just needs a friend, you know what I mean? He's got to quit hanging out with that crowd he hangs out with. Ugh. Thriving Turtle. We're going to thrive it up here. We're going to thrive big and hefty. Enters the battlefield. You get 2 energy counters. When Thriving Turtle attacks, put a 1/1 counter on it. It turns into a 1/4. That can turn into a 2/5, which can turn into a 3/6, which can turn into a 4/7. Oh my goodness. For 1 mana. Oh my gosh, a 4/7 for 1 mana? Talk about value. Thriving's awesome. What can I say? Torrential Gear Hulk. 6 mana. 5/6. Flash. Ooh, baby. I already like where this is going. ETBs. Cast target instant card. Only an instant. From your graveyard without paying its mana cost. If that card would be put into your egg without paying its mana cost. Busted. Busted. This is easily mythic power. You don't need me to tell you that that's good. Vendulkin Blademaster. For 3 mana, 2/3 Prowess. I like Prowess. Prowess is a fun mechanic, and this guy looks like he knows what he's doing, and he does. Vendulkin have 6 thin, agile fingers on each hand, giving them unparalleled dexterity. So, there you go. Weldfast Wingsmith. For 4 mana, you get a 3/3. And if you basically have any kind of artifact theme, which this whole entire set does, it gains flying until end of turn. This is awesome because this is going to be very repeatable. And I think this will be very good, actually, as a pick. It should be fine. Airships are too confining. If I'm in the sky, I want to feel the wind in my hair and taste the ether. See, that even sounds dumb. Alright, Windrake, 3 mana, 2/2 flying. Classic, beautiful reprint. Drake's Prowl, the skies of Kaladesh. Waiting for the perfect moment to strike. What a dumb... I mean, look, man, we can get a little bit more flavorful with that. We could do a little work on that, you know? Say something about, you know, one time a Drake attacked an airship, and, I mean, we could do better. Alright, Black, let's get into it. Ooh, we're going faster than 30 minutes per, so we're at a very good pace here. I'm not trying to really spend a lot of time on this, but I am trying to just have fun with it. And this is something for people to watch if they want to or not. And like, this is not supposed to be serious. I'm supposed to have a good time. And you know, as we do these will develop. These will become something I may be doing with people. I don't know. It all depends on how things roll. But you know, we'll see. Aetherborn Marauder. For 4 mana, you get a flying lifelinker. That's a 2/2. But also, when Aetherborn Marauder enters the battlefield, move any number of +1/+1 counters from other permanents you control onto this guy. This guy's going to be a boss. This is going to be so cool. Because for 4 mana, you're going to shrink all your Fabricate guys, and you're going to turn them into a 5/5 flying with lifelink. Shut up. Oh my god, that's so good. And it's going to be a 5-point, it's going to be a 10-point life swing. It's going to be nuts. And the only thing is that there's a ton of removal in this set. That's probably a bad idea. It seems like every time I need a removal spell, I just don't draw it. So, I mean, that's sort of how it works. So that's why this card will be good, because your opponent won't draw the removal spell. Because you're black and you just drafted all the removal spells. How about that? Ambitious Aetherborn for 5 mana, Fabricate 1. His best friend is actually the Marauder. They're buddies. They hang out. Aetherborn comes in first. Then the Marauder comes in. He takes his 1/1 counter. You kill the opponent. Or you play the, with the extra mana, you basically Doomblade something, and there you go. What a great time. Okay, this is what I was talking about. The Demon of Dark's Scheme. This card is busted. Like, this is the bombiest of bombs. This is just a nuke on your opponent. This guy comes in, and not only does he not even look like a, he's just got normal arms. He's got purple arms, that's it. He's not really a demon-like. He's got purple arms and he's got weird legs, and it's just like he's got some crazy mask on. But check this out. He comes in, he flies over, right? He just moseys on in, drops a nuke on your opponent's board and all your little servo guys, and then basically he sucks up all the energy. It's basically like Final Fantasy X, when people die, they make those little pyreflies fly around everywhere. So he sucks in all the pyreflies like he's God of War or something, and then he siphons that all to you. And then what you do is you can pay 3 mana and pay 4 of those pyreflies to basically put a creature card from your graveyard into the battlefield on your control tapped, and it's a speed. What the crap is going on? This is going to be standard playable, hands down. I don't want to slam the table because my mic would pick it up and it'd be very confusing. But that is disgusting. This is just not okay. Dund Operative. For 2 mana, 2/2, and as long as you control an artifact, it gets +1/+0 and has Death Touch. Very good. I think it's probably maybe one of the best commons besides removal. Pretty cool little art there. I kind of dig it, but at the same time, the 3/2 Death Touch means that it's trying to go into an aggro deck. It's trying to be very aggressive. Yes, black has a very nice aggressive theme in it. Diabolic Tutor. Reprint. The art looks the same. Basically, put something in your hand from your library. Show them how hot your fire can burn. You know, I don't know how I feel about this. I feel like, I don't know, I haven't read any of the story, but I really hope there's a little bit of, I don't know what Liliana's trying to do. But anyway, interesting little reprint, interesting art. Probably not a good card for Limited, though. Die Young. This is a cool removal spell, and I like it a lot. Choose target creature. You get 2 energies, and you may pay any amount of energies, and that creature gets -1/-1 until the end of turn for each of those energies that you paid. And what sweet art is that? That is cool. With a little rose that's pedaling off, and this guy's just aethering out, or whatever you want to call it. He's smoking out, and it's just a very cool card. The other one, the Live Fast one, is a very cool one too. But, yeah, I mean, it's a very cool removal spell in any kind of energy, which I feel like there's going to be tons of ways of making energy. This is like a 2 mana Doomblade, almost like that's a sorcery speed. I think that's what this is going to end up being. Dukara, Scavenger, for 6 mana, 4/6. Crocodile. ETBs, put target artifact or creature card from your graveyard to your library. Doesn't draw you a card, isn't that great. Sets up your next draw, so that's okay. It's probably your 20th to 23rd card in a black deck. Ooh, this is cool. Eliminate the competition. Now this is cool with a set full of 1/1 toy servos. Eliminate the competition. 5 mana. As additional cost, do cast eliminate the competition, sacrifice X creatures. Destroy X target creature. This is very powerful, but it's also going to hose you if you get counterspelled. Very cool card, very awesome. This is definitely going to swing the board, and it's definitely a rare powered. Open hostilities are strictly forbidden at the Inventor's Fair, but accidents still happen. And look how cool this art is. Now, the thing that's cool about this art is not only is this guy stabbing the dude through his wrist, he's stabbing through his hand. So he's literally like mixing blood through that guy's blood because it's got to go through his hand first before it goes to the other hand. That is biohazardous. Embrawl Bruiser. 2 mana, 3/1, and he enters the battlefield tapped, and he has menace as long as you control another artifact. So far we have 2 very good 2-drops that are 3 powered that have very good effects as long as you control an artifact. With some of that fabricate action, these are going to be good cards. But this is uncommon. Could be quite good as long as you can attack. However, I feel like menace, especially with a 1 toughness guy, is going to be really bad. Mainly because of the fact that you can just block with 2 1/1 servo tokens, and there you go. I mean, you're done. You know, so menace, I think, is with fabricate, it's going to be less good in this set than others. Essence Extraction. Ooh, I like this card. For 3 mana, you deal 3 and you gain 3. Pretty straightforward. I didn't know that the Aetherborn could draw life essence from other living beings. Fortress Find. Choose one or both. Now this is cool. This is the very cool black divination. So you can return target artifact card from your graveyard to your hand, return target creature card. So basically, in this set, it could be a black divination. And I think that's a decent card. It's probably not going to be a very high pick because you need a creature card and an artifact card. So depending on how you draft your artifacts, that could be good or bad. But Foundry Screecher, 3 mana, 2/1 with flying. And if you control an artifact, there's that theme again. Black likes artifacts. So does everyone else. But as long as you control an artifact, it gets +1/+0. So there are now 3 creatures that get bonus benefits if you have artifact. Fretwork Colony. Now check this out, guys. Check this out. Can't block. Beginning of your upkeep, put a 1/1 counter on it and you lose 1 life. Now check this out. Put a 1/1 counter on this, okay? And at some point, if it gets whatever that blue enchantment is that taps it or whatever, basically you have your creature, that flyer, the 2/2 flyer, enter the battlefield, suck up all that aether, and make him like a 6/6 flyer with lifelink. That's so good. So that's his buddy too. Conti, Lord of Luxury. 2/3 Death Touch for 4 mana, and basically you can steal an opponent's card and you get to play it and spend mana as though it were any type to cast it. Pretty cool card, very rare kind of card, very cool effect. And I like the fact that your opponent has no idea what that card is going to be. Harsh Scrutiny, probably my favorite kind of discard card ever printed. It is a 1 mana discard a creature card because in Limited, you're always dealing with creatures. But you get to scry one. You get to scry one. That's so awesome. So yeah, it's this weird eyeball thing that's probably interrogating this lady, and that's why she looks so concerned about things. And I would be concerned too if this thing was in my room looking at me doing that. So there you go. I don't blame you. But this is a very cool card. I think it's going to be cool, and it potentially is limited playable. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see what the pros have to say about this. But I'm sure I'll smash into some black deck I draft and fail horribly with it. All right, Lawless Broker, 3/2 for 3. And when it dies, put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control. I don't know why that's black. I feel like it's more of a green effect, but I like the fact that you basically you're kind of incentivized to get this guy to be aggressive in its attack. Live Fast. Sorcery. For 3 mana, draw 2 cards, lose 2 life, and you get 2 energy counters. At first I thought this was super cool, but then I was like, oh, you lose 2 life, and you actually don't get to scry at all. So this is actually kind of bad. The energy's probably worth it. All right, Lost Legacy for 3 mana. This is kind of crazy. I think this will be played in Standard because check this out. It says this. It goes, name a non-artifact, non-land card. Search that player's graveyard, hand, and library for any number of cards with that name and exile them. That player shuffle his or her library and then draws a card for each card exiled from hand this way. So check this out. Let's say you're playing against a control deck, okay? And you know that their win condition is 4 copies of that whale thing, okay? You can just name that whale and remove all that, and you're good. And it doesn't include an artifact, so it's probably not going to do anything in Modern. But the interesting thing is that you draw a card and you replace a card. So if you have that card in your hand, then it's not really that good. So I think a lot of people in Standard will be building around that, so they don't get hosed by that. Make obsolete. For 3 mana, instant, creatures your opponents control will get -1/-1 until end turn. Yesterday's marvels are today's antiques. Well, you know what? This is an awesome combat trick because you can swing with your team, -1/-1 on everything. It's a big deal. It's kind of like giving all your creatures +1/+1, except you might actually kill some of your opponent's creatures. So I think there's a huge aggro theme in black. All right, Marionette Master, 6 mana. 1/3 Fabricate. Whenever an artifact you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, target opponent loses life equal to Marionette Master's power. So this is encouraging me. This is a really weird card because it's encouraging you to have a lot of servo tokens, but it's also encouraging you to not have servo tokens, and to fabricate and get the 1/1 counters. Very weird to me because you could play this and if you're in blue, think about this. If you're in blue, play this, make the servo tokens, bounce this, play it again, give the fabricate, and then what happens is then basically you now have 3 bombs that if they block and die, the opponent loses 4 life. And you have a big blocker here too. That's pretty cool. Maulfist Squad. 3/1 Menace Fabricate. I like the Menace rider on this. It's pretty cool. And they look really mean. They said, nice invention there. Looks real fragile. That doesn't seem very nice. I wonder if they're punching the invention and a servo comes out of it. That's why it's Fabricate 1. Midnight Oil. This is a weird card, but this is nowhere near as good as Demonic Pact. Enters the battlefield with 7 hour counters on it. Give your draw step, draw an additional card, and remove 2 hour counters from Midnight Oil. Your maximum hand size is equal to the number of hour counters on Midnight Oil. Whenever you discard a card, you lose 1 life. Basically, it's a 4-mana enchantment that draws 2 cards, and hopefully you can spend those cards unless you lose a ton of life. Mind Drop. Target player discards 2 cards. Classic, beautiful, great in control, and great with value. Many an inventor have collapsed under the pressure to create a flawless design. Morbid Curiosity. As initial cost to cast Morbid Curiosity, sacrifice an artifact or creature. Draw cards equal to converted mana cost of sacrifice permanent. Now this is the thing that sucks about this card. You can't use this with your servo tokens. This would be super cool if you could use those servo tokens, but you can't, because then you just do nothing. So I don't really like this card at all. It's decent to side in case someone has a lot of the sleep paralysis card or the sort of the choking restraints in white, but this is really bad. Alright, Night Market Lookout. Whenever Night Market Lookout becomes tapped, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. This is kind of cool, because not only is it like a 2/1 for 1, when it crews vehicles, you'll lose an extra life, or the opponent loses 1 life, and you gain life. So it's pretty spicy. I like it. Okay, here we go. Another busted card. Noxious Gearhulk. Menace. 5/4. ETBs, destroy another target creature. If that creature is destroyed this way, gain life equal to its toughness. There's a lot of life gain in this set. So basically, I think the aggro is very strong, but I think the life gain is very intense as well. So gotta watch out for that if you draft aggro. Oval Chase Daredevil, 4/2. Whenever an artifact enters the battlefield under your control, you may return Oval Chase Daredevil from your graveyard to your hand. Now the interesting thing about this is that it's sort of set up to where you could pilot like any vehicle, or you could crew any vehicle. However, I like this as an aggro card. You just swing in, you trade with something, you play an artifact spell, you get it back, you can play it again. It's very cool. Prakata, Club Security. This guy's awesome because I can't even see what his face is. Like, I think that's his hair, but it's actually not. And he's got like chunks of the smoky aether coming out of his side. And I don't know what the deal is with that. 3/4 for 4, just vanilla. It's rare that the Prakata Club closes its doors. It's also rare that Lord Gonti meets with the Consul Kambal. What are the odds the two would occur on the same day? Speaking of aggro, check this out. Rush of Vitality, 2 mana, creature gets +1/+0, gains lifelink, and indestructible. That's pretty awesome. The indestructible part of this is insane. I think this is what makes it go from being a horrible card to a very good card. As long as it resolves, it's awesome because not only do you kill a creature if you set things up right, you get to basically gain a bunch of life, hopefully, and I think it's very powerful. And I think it's going to go great in the aggro deck. Subtle Strike. For 2 mana, a strictly better escalated Borrow Malevolence. Creature gets -1/-1 until end turn. Put a 1/1 counter on target creature. The 1/1 counter stays. We saw in Eldritch Moon that -1/-1 +1/+1 is a decent combat trick, and it can, if you set things up right, it can 2 for 1, but at the same time, it usually just 1-for-1s. But 1-for-1 at 2 mana is a very good price. And yeah, I don't know if she's like, she must be hanging from the ceiling, but I think that's kind of cool how she's taking the guy's weapon and then she's like attacking him. So that actually gives her the 1/1 counter in the form of a sword, but it's making him give him -1/-1. I just think that's awesome. The the art flavor here is fanatical. Syndicate Trafficker. I love this guy, by the way. All right, check this out. For 2 mana, it's a 3/1. Okay. All right. Fair enough. Pretty good. Pay 1 mana, sacrifice an artifact. Put a 1/1 counter on Syndicate Trafficker. It gains indestructible until the end of the turn. This is a 1 mana protection, instant speed, as long as you have an artifact. Very cool. The price isn't negotiable, but I'm sure you'll agree it's fair. Probably because he's going to strong arm his way into your pocketbook. Thriving Rat. Same thing, 2 mana, 2 energies. You basically can pay 2 to get a 1/1 counter on it for 2/3, then a 3/4, then a 4/5, and then you just win the game. Tidy Conclusion, 5 mana. Destroy target creature. You gain 1 life for each artifact you control. Like I said, tons of life gain in this set. It's a little insane. So aggro is going to be very powerful, but it's going to have a hard time really knocking it out. So I think these games are going to go fairly long. I mean, I think they're going to go longer than you'd expect. The power level is fairly high. So I think this is going to be very interesting. Underhanded Designs. This is a cool enchantment. Whenever an artifact enters the battlefield under your control, you may pay 1. Do Draining Game. Pay 2, sacrifice Underhanded Design, destroy target creature. You can only do this if there are 2 or more artifacts that you control. Sweet card. For 4 mana, you kill a creature pretty much. For 2 mana, you basically leave some mana open and you basically fabricate your face off and you just Draining Gain all the time. I think this card is awesome. I think this card is amazing. And think about it. You can play this guy, Weaponcraft Enthusiast, fabricate 2, and then pay 2 more mana to drain 2, and now you have a bunch of blockers. Amazing. Alright, here we go. We're going to get a little bit of water, and we're going to drink to red. Alright. Aether Torch Renegade. 3 mana for a 1/2. But wait a minute. There's more. Aether Torch Renegade enters the battlefield. You get 4 energies. Most we've seen so far. Well, that's also the same as the crab. Yes, the crab has this. Pay 2 energies, tap it, deals 1 damage to target creature, or you can tap it and pay. Here we are again. Hold on, 1 moment while I count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Tap, pay 8 energies, deal 6 damage to target player. Very cool. It's kind of like the Invoker cycle, where you can basically pay 8 mana to do 3 damage to the lightning bolt, anything. It'd be cool if it could be a target creature or player, I think. Brazen Scourge. For 3 mana, you get a 3/3 with haste, which sounds pretty powerful, actually. But you know what? These little gremlins, they have insatiable hunger. They just never stop feeding. And you know what? They can just destroy a lifetime of work in just a few moments. And you know, that's not fair. And you know what? You can tell that they have just been overgorged. Because look at this. They have little aether. They have little aether on their snouts. They've been drinking too much of this stuff. We need to just dial it back a little bit, you know? We just gotta, you know, these little gremlins. Okay, here, I'm excited about this. Built to smash, okay? Strictly better than that other card that was +3/+3 and instant speed. Target attacking creature. Oh. Target attacking creature. Brute Strength is what the card was called. I'm sorry, not strictly better. But this goes right into, I mean, this goes directly into aggro. +3/+3, attacking creature. If it's an artifact, it gains trample. Dang, that is nuts. That is crazy. Alright, Cathartic Reunion. 2 mana. As an additional cost to cast Cathartic Reunion, discard 2 cards, draw 3 cards. Guess what? Dredge has a new best friend. This is going to be great. This art is a little weird. You know what I think is really funny? Trandra's super duper white for being in an India-based set. I don't know how that makes any sense. Is she adopted or something? Is that why she's angry all the time? And don't make redhead jokes, because you know what? Being a ginger myself, I know how it is to be a stepchild. A redheaded stepchild. Nobody loves me! But anyway, I think there's going to be a sweet card for Dredge. I don't think it's going to really have much of a place. I don't know why they printed this, honestly. Like, I don't know what this does in Kaladesh, honestly. Ooh. Basically, the new Jace the Mind Sculptor. Chandra, Torch of Defiance. For 4 mana, 4 toughness, or 4 life, 4 loyalty. Exile the top card of your library. You can cast that card. If you don't, it deals 2 damage to the opponent. So feel free to shock your opponent, no big deal. +1, add 2 red to your mana pool. So this really costs 2 generic. So this is a crazy Planewalker for 2. -3 is deals 4 damage to target creature. Very nice. And then, -7, you get an emblem with whenever you cast a spell. This emblem deals 5 damage to target creature or player. Yowzas. That is kind of spicy. Pretty good. It's going to be very hard to beat if someone plays this in a limited format against you. Alright, Chandra's Pyrohelix. Chandra's Pyrohelix deals 2 damage divided any way you choose among 2 target creatures or players. This one's for my mom, and this one's for me. It's only 1 damage Chandra. But anyway, in a set with a bunch of X1s, this is probably going to be a very good card. Potentially first pickable. Combustible Gear Hulk. Okay, this is my kind of red card. First strike, 6/6 for 6 mana. When Combustible Gear Hulk enters the battlefield, target opponent can say, hey, feel free to draw 3 cards. If that player doesn't, put the top 3 cards of your library into your graveyard, and then Combustible Gear Hulk deals damage to that player equal to the total converted mana cost of those cards. This is awesome, because I will probably always say mill 3, because you know what's going to happen more often than not? People are going to play this, they're going to go for the win, they're going to be like, I'm going to hit 10 damage off this, and it's going to be 3 stinking lands. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be 3 miserable lands in a row. This is going to be the worst card ever. Everyone's going to be like, what a lame thing. They're going to insta-concede, and that's why this card is horrible and you should never draft it. Demolish. Reprint. Gremlins are running amok. Fateful Showdown. I don't know how I feel about this card. Basically, it says it deals damage equal to target creature or player equal to the number of cards in your hand. Discard all those cards in your hand, and then draw that many cards. What I don't like about this card is that you don't replace Fateful Showdown itself. So if you have 5 cards in your hand, you cast this, you deal 4 damage to target creature or player, and then you dump all those cards and you draw that many cards. Now the interesting thing about this card is that this might just be a one-of in Dredge. And the reason why I say that, and maybe I'm getting all pie in the sky here, maybe I'm thinking about Magical Christmas Land here, but think about that. You have a handful of cards, you play this, because Dredge doesn't really play anything out of their hand, really. I mean, they don't really want to. They want to get like, but 4 mana is kind of a lot. 4 mana is a little bit of a concern. But anyway, what happens is that you play this card, you say, okay, I'll deal 4 damage to a creature, I'll deal 4 damage to the opponent, discard my hand, Dredge like 3 or 4 times. I feel like by turn 4, though, okay, you know what, I'm off this. I don't think this is going to be good at all. Basically, this is deal 4. This isn't even deal 4. This is nothing. This is not even in Dredge, because by turn 4, you're already comboing off, and you're already, it's kind of like Infect, where you kind of have your game plan already done and happening by that time. So there's that. And I find it very interesting that why is it that the head judge is facing off against Pia Nalar? I don't understand. Why are they fighting? Why is the head judge like, hey, by the way, I'm here to judge, but I'm also here to punch your face in? Like, what kind of a judge is that? How professional is that? I don't think that's very professional. Did anyone read this guy's resume? Like, I don't know how he even got there, you know? So, I don't know. I think we need to really relook at how we evaluate our talent on our board. Furious Reprisal. 4 mana. Deals 2 to up to 2 target creatures to players. Kind of like, you know what I don't like about this card? Is that this is seriously the same card as the one before, only instead of 1 mana, 1 damage to 2 creatures, it's 2 damage to 2 creatures, and it's double the cost. You're not getting anything better for it. It's not anything special, but yes, you could 2 for 1 with it possibly. But I just think it's just boring design space. There definitely is this theme here of Liliana just being like, come on, Chandra, let's go hang out together, and I'm gonna teach you how to be a bad girl. And it's like, geez, man, like, why are we trying to get so angry over here? Can we just, like, relax? Giant Spectacle. 2 mana. Enchanted creature gets +2/+1 and menace. So, I can see myself thinking that this is a bad card, basically, because it's straight up 2 for 1's you, but I can also see myself losing to it in draft. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of this, because I'm going to play it, I'm going to get 2 for 1, and then my opponent's going to play it, and then I'm going to lose to it because I won't draw any removal. There you go. That is Magic in a nutshell for you. Harness Lightning. Very cool removal spell here. Same thing as the Live Fast. No, the Die Young. The Die Young. But you get 3 manas here. And it basically deals that much damage to that creature. as blah 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 blah. So anyway, energy's good. Use the energy. Kill anything. 2 mana, kill stuff. Alrighty tighty. Hijack, threaten effect, steal a target artifact or creature. There you go. Sweet. I like it. I think it's cool how this guy is basically hijacking a Thopter of all things, and it's a 1/1. So you're gonna spend 3 mana to get 1/1 to swing into your opponent who only has 1 life for the win. I like that plan. I like that game plan. Alright, Incendiary Sabotage. Here's what I'm talking about. All these sweeper effects are kind of insane. Additional casting costs, sacrifice an artifact. This is an instant, by the way. So keep that in mind. That's kind of a big deal. Incendiary Sabotage deals 3 damage to each creature. Yeah, pretty good. Venter's Apprentice gets +1/+1 as long as you control an artifact. This thing is an awesome 1-drop in an aggro deck because it turns into a 2/2, can do a bunch of damage as long as you can reliably get something out on turn 2, some sort of artifact on turn 2. So there you go. Lathnu Hellion. For 3 mana, get a 4/4 with haste, which is kind of spicy. When it ETBs, you get 2 energies. At the beginning of your end step, sacrifice it unless you pay 2 energies. Very cool, very good tempo. Problem is that I don't think you can pay for that every single upkeep. Therefore, this is going to be good for, 8 damage. But the problem is that it's going to die. So you may want to keep putting money into this. I don't know. I don't know why I said money, but roll with it. Okay, Madcap Experiment. For 4 mana, you can reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal an artifact card. Oh boy, here we go. This is going to be such a random roll the dice. It's not even going to be worth the text on the card. Put that card into the battlefield with the rest of the bottom of your library. Madcap Experience deals damage equal to you to the number of cards revealed this way. Oh, damage to you. I was just thinking about this. I was like, this card is actually busted. And the reason why is because of this. You could play this 4 mana with a Batterskull or something, and you can get into the battlefield, and you only have 1 artifact in your entire deck, and you're hoping to do like 40 damage to the opponent, right, and just win on the spot, but it's to you. So I see why this is kind of a stupid card. They just gotta make every card not fun. Is that how it is? Is this how this is gonna be? Like, just when you print something broken, you just gotta take it away from me. Malphus Doorbuster. This is the guy I was talking about before. This is basically the sweetest version. Not the sweetest. I still would rather have Goblin Heel Cutter. But Malphus Doorbuster is cool because for 4 mana, you get a 4/2, and we ETBs get 2 energies, and every time it attacks, you can pay 1 energies, and target creature can't block this turn. Very nice. Very nice. Alright, here we go. This is Pia Nalar. This is a very important character in the story, and I have no idea what she does other than being the mom of a crazy redheaded child. Legendary creature, Human Artificer. Artificer synergy. ETBs create a 1/1 color Thopter flying token. Target creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn. Sacrifice an artifact. Target creature can't block this turn. I don't know, man. This doesn't seem too good. But then again, maybe it's amazing. Then again, I'm horrible at evaluating cards. You probably shouldn't take my advice about any of that stuff. But 3 mana for a 2/2 that makes a 1/1, probably a good value. The fact that I can pump it up into a 3/1 or a 4/1 flyer is probably excellent. And the fact that you can sacrifice an artifact so that if they make flyers they can't block, that's probably really good. So what do I know? Quicksmith Genius. This guy loves it, and he's got a pretty good beard. I mean, if you really look at, that's a pretty good growth. Oh yes, this is a card that I remember seeing, and it's quite good. When an artifact enters the battlefield under your control, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. Cycle through stuff, very nice. I like it. I think it's gonna be good. Reckless Fireweaver. This is the Thermal Alchemist of the set. 1/3. Whenever an artifact enters the battlefield under your control, Reckless Fireweaver deals 1 damage to each opponent. Fabricate like crazy, baby. This is good. Fabricate with bounce effects. That's going to be really powerful. Renegade Tactics. Target creature can't block this turn. Draw a card. Potentially playable, probably not. But it does cycle itself. That's very positive. And it goes very nicely into spells deck. I think you can just rock and roll with this. And this could be in a hyper-aggressive excuse me, in hyper aggressive decks, this is very good. I'm talking like hyper. And you know what's cool about this is that it cycles itself. It draws a card, and that's the worst thing about our aggro decks is that when you spend cards, you don't usually draw a card. Ruinous Gremlin for 1 mana, you get a 1/1, and you can sack it to destroy target artifact. This is awesome because I love these cards. These creatures that drop down early, and they make the opponent like think really hard about, oh, do I want to play this nice artifact, or should I play some other creature or whatever beforehand? This is cool because you can instant speed sack it, kill a creature. If a guy wants to pilot a vehicle, just blow it up. Just blow it up with this hungry little guy. You know what I mean? This is very cool. Salivating Gremlins. For 3 mana, you get a 2/3. And whenever an artifact enters the battlefield under control, Salivating Gremlins gets +2/+0 and gains trample. Now this card's cool because it synergizes like crazy with Fabricate. Fabricate 2, Fabricate 3. Fabricate 3 is an 8/3 with trample? Are you kidding me? Ugh. Alright, I'm fine with that. Instant speed flicker. There you go. There's how you win the game right there. So you play this, okay? The next turn, you play Fabricate 3, you attack with it, and then you flicker that Fabricate 3 and make 3 more, and then it's this huge beast of a creature, and then they're really salivating. They're literally killing you with their saliva. Alright, here we go. Here is a bomb. This is a bomb of bombs that will win the game if no one touches it. It is literally a tiger dragon. Look, it has tiger stripe. It has tiger stripes, tiger claws, and even like tiger looking face. But look at this. It is crazy. Not only is it a 3/3 with flying, 4/4. It has fire breathing. It has first strike, which fire breathing and first strike is insane together, by the way. Think about it. And it can gain haste. So if you're in mono red, this is a curved topper and will destroy. Okay, Spark of Creativity. Spark of Creativity, choose target creature, exile the top card of your library. You may have Spark of Creativity deal damage to that card equal to the exiled card's cover mana cost. If you don't, you may play the card until end of turn. I don't like these cards. These random chance cards. I mean, maybe it can help you ramp, but it's stupid because you play this card. What happens is, what if you draw a land? Well, you just hit your land drop. Big deal. What a waste of a card. You just cast a spell for no reason. Speedway Fanatic. Haste. When it cruises a vehicle, that vehicle gains haste until end of turn. Very cool. Very cool. I like this card. It works out very well with the Spireside Infiltrator. For 3 mana, you get a 3/2. When Spireside Infiltrator becomes tapped, deals 1 damage to each opponent. Good in aggressive decks. Good to crew vehicles, you know. That's very good. Spontaneous Artist. For 4 mana, you get a 3/3. You get 1 energy, and you can pay 1, and target creature gains haste until end of turn. For 4 mana, you get a 3/3 with haste. Not bad. And you can give other people haste. So it's quite good in aggro decks as well. Alright. This card's going to be busted. This card's going to be good if you have a full, vehicle deck. Start your engines, 4 mana. Basically turn all your vehicles on into creatures, and then they all get +2/+0 until end of turn. All creatures you have. So not only is this good with vehicles, if you have a bunch of servo tokens, you have a bunch of little 3/1s running around, just blowing everything up. Like, that is crazy. Territorial Gorger. For 4 mana, you get a 2/2, and whenever you get 1 or more energies, this becomes it gets +2/+2. So it becomes a 4/4 trample, and this little hungry guy is getting really mad about that. Deserves to be a rare because of the fact that it's anytime you get energy. So each instance that you would get energy, it becomes nuts. Terror of the Fairground. 4 mana, you get a 5/2, and this is literally just a hulking devil, and no one played that, so let's just move on. And it dies to every. Thriving Grub. 2 mana, you get a 2/1, and you can attack. You can pay 2. You can get a 1/1 counter on it. And you can become a 3/2 on turn 2, a 4/3 on turn 3, a 5/4, and then a 6/5. It's insane. It gets out of control. Wayward Giant. For 5 mana, you get a 4/5 with Menace. This is strictly better than the Giant, well, I wouldn't say strictly, but the Giant Warrior Ally thing that was in, it was Battle for Zendikar, but instead of for 5 mana with 2 red being a 4/4 with Menace, this is a 4/5. Welding Sparks. Now this is a quality removal spell. This is an instant for 3 mana, and it deals 3 plus X is the number of artifacts you control to target player. Weird thing, though, how the Welding Sparks just kills people. Whereas, you know, I've had Welding Sparks hit me, and it's just sort of like, okay, whatever. I don't know how that's a spell. I don't know how we're casting this, and it's called Welding Sparks. But, hey, whatever. I'm going to take this moment to do a little bit of a drink break, so enjoy that. That water's so good. Appetite for the Unnatural. For 3 mana, you can destroy target and instant speed, by the way. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. You gain 2 life. Awesome. I just let the monkey have it if I were you. You can make another, but the same can't be said for your finger. This monkey is out of control. Why is this monkey? So literally this spell, okay, let's think about this in context. This spell is literally you casting a summon spell where a monkey falls out of the sky and he literally attacks the artifact. He literally eats the artifact and he runs off with it, and somehow you gain 2 life. Where is, what kind of Vorthos is that? Okay, what kind of lore is that? I don't know how I feel about this. Arborback Stomper for 5 mana, 5/4, trample. When it enters the battlefield, you gain 5 life. See, this is what I'm saying. There's so much life gain. Aggro is going to be, I don't know, I think aggro is going to be horrible. I think aggro is going to get hosed so bad with all this life gain. Alright, Architect of the Untamed. 3 mana, 2/3. When a land enters the battlefield, you get a pay. Here we go again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Pay 8 energies. Create a 6/6 colorless beast artifact creature token. Okay, that's not bad. Make a lot of energy. It's free, technically. And that's good. Armorcraft Judge. For 4 mana, you get a 3/3. And when it ETBs, you draw a card for each creature control with a 1/1 counter on it. Fabricate. Benefits of the Fabricate other side of things. Attune with Aether. For 1 green, by the way, Nissa looks really weird in this picture. I don't know if I'm okay with it or not. Looks very wonky and unnatural. She needs to put a little bit of color. She needs to eat a little bit better. She looks a little white. She looks a little sickly in the face. I like the green eyes though. That's a little creepy. Maybe she's like in the middle of casting something. That's why all the blood's out of her face. And she looks very pale. I don't know. Maybe she doesn't get out in the sun much. I don't get out in the sun much. I'm pretty white. I'm pretty pale. Maybe we have something in common. Sorcery, search your library for a basic land, reveal it, and you put it in your hand. Okay. And then you get 2 energies. Well, that's cool. Blossoming Defense. Here's the card that everyone thinks is going to go into Infect, which I don't know if it will. I can see it actually going into as a sideboard slot against. I can see it being where in a sideboard slot where what is it called? I played this deck and I don't even know what it's called. The white instant, but basically where the evasion doesn't matter. But I could see this being there. If you're playing against a deck that has like no creatures, I could see this being a big deal. But I don't know. Sideboard slots are such a premium these days in Modern that I don't know if this is really even going to have a slot for it. But it is very good. +2/+2 and hexproof for 1 green. Bristling Hydra. 4 mana, you get a 4/3, already pretty spicy. And then what happens is that when it ETBs, you get 3 mayonnaise. I'm sorry, not mayonnaise. It's not mana, it's energies. 3 energies. Pay 3 energies, put a 1/1 counter on Bristling Hydra. It gains hexproof until end turn. Guess what? If you have any kind of energy generation, this thing takes over the game. You just kind of attack, they try to remove it, you pay a bunch of energy, you charge it up, you give it that Aether, and it's just going to win you the game. Alright, Commencement of Festivities for 2 mana. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to players this turn. I hate fog effects, they're not good, so let's not even consider it. Howl Prowler. It is a worm, a 6/6 worm for 6. Very vanilla, very special. Creeping Mold, 4 mana. Destroy a land or an artifact or an enchantment. Amazing. Cultivator of Blades. For 5 mana, you can fabricate 2. And you know what's going to be awesome about this? Is you're going to put the 1/1 counters on it. And then when you attack, everything's going to get +X until end of turn, which is insane. Because think about that. Let's say you make a bunch of servo tokens or thopters, and you're thopping all over the place. You make this guy. He's a 3/3. You swing with everything. Everything becomes a 4/4, and then your 3/3s become 7/7s. I'm sorry, 3/3s become 6/6s. I mean, it's nuts. It's crazy how this works. And this is going to be definitely a go-wide green-white strategy card. Dubious Challenge. This is horrible. Play the top 10 cards of your library, exile the 2 creature cards from among them, then shuffle your library. Target opponent may choose one of the exiled cards and put it in the battlefield under his or her control. Put the rest onto the battlefield under your control. Why would you ever play this card? Why would you ever want to play this card? Because you're going to pick up 2 creature cards, and your opponent is going to have the first choice. That is so bad. Not only that, you're giving your opponent something. You're literally giving them both. I don't understand. There's got to be something busted with this that Wizards thought of when they made this. They're like, oh, they'll find out in 3 years. It's like, what the heck? Durable Handicraft. 2 mana. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under control, you can pay 1. If you do, put a 1/1 counter on that creature. Pay 5. Sacrifice Durable Handicraft. Put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. Pretty good. I like Elegant Edge Crafters. For 6 mana, get 3/4. Fabricate 2. It could be a 5/6, but it can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. I think that ability is relevant even without the Fabricate. Like, I think it's still pretty good as a 5/4. I'm sorry, a 3/4. So what you could do is you could just do the Fabricate 2. You have blockers on their end, and you just start swinging in. And, you know, it can't be blocked by their small creatures, so you're forced to trade with some of the big creatures. If they have them at all, if they don't have them, it's unblockable. So could be quite good. Fairgrounds Trumpeter. For 3 mana, you get a 2/2. At the beginning of each end step, if a 1/1 counter was placed on a permanent under your control this turn, put a 1/1 counter on Fairgrounds Trumpeter. This is very good. It's rightfully so an uncommon. It'll probably be a 4/4 if you draft the right deck around it in no time. The fact that it starts out as a 3 mana 2/2 is kind of question mark because you have to do some setup. But for the most part, it's pretty spicy. Cure per Guide. For 3 mana, you get a 3/2. That's an Elf Scout. And for 3 mana, target creature control can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. You know, that's the most interesting evasion I've seen on a green card. You know, green has this weird evasive thing where it's like power less than this can't block this creature for whatever reason. And I think it's pretty interesting. But I like the fact that you can pay this, so you can give this to certain creatures, and it can target certain things, so that you can choose your big thing or your little thing or whatever to get through. High Spire Artisan. For 3 mana, you get a 0/3 with Fabricate 1 and Reach. This is what I was talking about earlier with the 1 mana 0/4. Only this is a lot better, but it also costs 2 more. So this is very much a common card. Hunt the Weak. For 4 mana, it's a reprint. You put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control, then that creature fights. Decent removal, not the greatest. A little bit of setup involved, but it seems to fit well in the set, especially with the +1/+1 counter. Kujar Speed Sculptor, or Seed Sculptor, but I would want to know what a Speed Sculptor is. That'd be cool. 1 mana, 2/1, ETBs, put a 1 counter on target creature control. The cool thing about this is the fact that it can put a counter on itself. So 2 mana 2/3 is a pretty good price. And on top of that, I think that this is something that you could definitely. The fact that you can put it on anything is pretty awesome. Larger than life. 2 mana, you can put target creature gets +4/+4 and gains trample until end turn. Let me put that in my Infect deck. Oh wait, it's a sorcery. Oh, and it's 2 mana, so that's a bummer. You know, at some point we're gonna get a 2 mana +3/+3 with trample effect, or 2 mana +4/+4 with trample instant. But today's not that day, and this is not something. This is not something that would be good in Infect, and I don't really see it being very good in Draft, just because you're opening yourself up for a wild 2-for-1. Long Tusk Cub. For 2 mana, you get a 2/2, and whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you get 2 mana or 2 energy. Whoops. Pay 2 energy, put a 1/1 counter on Long Tusk Cub. The thing that's sad about this, or the thing that's scary about this, is that it's instant speed. So you can just build up a bunch of energy. You could play this on turn 8 and just be like, it's 2 mana. It's gonna be a let's see, 8 divided by 8. It's gonna be a 6/6. Why not? You know? Or they could leave it off, and then at instant speed, you could say, okay, I'm going to give it -3/-3. Okay, I'm going to put 4 1/1 counters on it. Then we have Nature's Way. Nature's Way is Rabid Bite, but it also gives Vigilance and Trample, which is kind of nuts. So they're really exploring this direct damage instead of fight space that they have going on here, which I kind of like. I think it's totally worth it. I think it's something that green has needed for a long time, and it's totally acceptable. Nissa, Vital Force, very vital here. Untap a land you control until your next turn. It becomes a 5/5 elemental creature, still a land. Return target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. That's pretty cool. It's literally card draw. You get an emblem with whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you may draw a card. What's cool about this is that this is a 5 for 5 mana. It's a 5 loyalty. It can protect itself for a turn. And then at 6, you make the emblem. When you play a land, you draw a card. That's pretty cool. I don't know if that's better. I don't know if that's just the best way to go with this card. So it's like, oh, I'm always going to play lands, and I'll just keep drawing cards. Or if you actually want to try to play around with this and have these temporary effects, and then, okay, I'm going to bring a permanent back from my graveyard. So Ornamental Courage for 1 green, untap target creature gets +1/+3 until end of turn. Interesting thing about this is that it is, we are getting a lot of 1 mana combat tricks. Like, think about it. We have now a cycle of single colored mana combat tricks in each of the colors. You have red, you have white, you have blue. I don't think black has a single one. Black might not have one. Oh, no, it doesn't. I don't think it does. And then Ornamental Courage has one. And that is insane. So, to say the least. Honestly. Okay. Ovia Pashiri, Sage Lifecrafter. Legendary creature, human artificer. Ooh, I remember this one. This is cool. For 3 mana, tap and create a colorless servo token. But then if you pay 5 and tap it, create an XX colorless construct artifact token where X is the number of creatures you control. Think about that. That is crazy good. That is awesome. Because that just means you make a bunch of servos. I mean, this kind of wins the game itself, potentially, if you can get to turn 5 without any aggression. And you just start making, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4. You start making 5 5s, 6 6s, and 7 7s. It's pretty spicy. Pima Outrider for 4 mana. You get a 3/3 with Fabricate 1. Could be a 4/4 with Trample, or a 3/3 and a 1/1. Looks like a win to me. Pretty good. 4/4 Trample for 4 is kind of sweet, actually, with all the servo tokens. Like, you're going to eat something very good. Riparian Tiger for 5 mana. You get a 4/4 with Trample. There's a lot of Trample in this set. Green's got a lot of Trample. And that's probably saying something to the aggro side of it thing. When Riparian Tiger enters the battlefield, you get 2 energy counters. When it attacks, you may pay 2 energies. If you do, you get +2/+2 on a turn. That's pretty cool, because not only this is the temporary effect, this allows you to get the energy and then get a nice big effect until end of turn. And even though it's not big, it's still a 6/6 with Trample. It already has the Trample, so that's pretty cool. Okay, Sage of Shyla's Claim. For 2 mana, you get a 2/1, and when it ETBs, you get 3 mana, or 3 energy. Amazing. So this is going to be a good pickup if you just want to make a bunch of energy. Servant of the Conduit. This is awesome. This is going to be a very good pickup, a very good card, because not only does you get 2 mana, it's a 2 mana 2/2, you get 2 energy counters, and you tap in and pay an energy, you add 1 mana of any mana to your mana pool, it ramps, it fixes, it's a good blocker. If you run out of energy, it's definitely, I think this is going to be first pickable. I mean, everyone freaked out about Ulvenwald Captive, but yes, that 2 mana ramp is super, super valuable, and limited that is. Take down 1 green, sorcery. Take down deals 4 damage to target creature with flying. Take down deals 1 damage to each creature with flying. Hoses Thopters, hoses whales. And hoses drakes too. Hoses most of the flyers, really. Look at how dumb this is. The drake flew true. The error flew truer. Are you serious right now? Are you serious at how dumb that sounds? We can work better on this. We can do better. Alright, Thriving Rhino. Thriving Rhino. Oh, there's another Thriver. ETB, for 3 mana you get a 2/3. ETB, 2 mana, attack, 3/4, to a 4/5, to a 5/6, and it just wins the game. Awesome. I love these Thriving cards. Virtuous Gearhulk, for 5 mana, you get a 4/4. I talked about this already. It's a 4/4 Trample. You can make it an 8/8. You can make it a 7/7. You can make it a 6/6. Give your counters to something else. That's awesome. And Wild Wanderer. I like this card because not only is it for 4 mana 3/2 that draws you a card, essentially, it gets a basic land and it ramps you. It puts it into the battlefield tapped. That is awesome. Then you have this card called Wildest Dreams, which says return X target cards from your graveyard to your hand. So for 5 mana, you're drawing 2. For 7 mana, you're drawing 3. I don't know if that's what I want to do as a sorcery. I don't know if that really, I don't know if that's really an effect I would want. I feel like this is going to be, it's a lot. That's a lot of mana for card draw. You know what I mean? Yeah, sure, you get to pick good cards to draw, but I don't know. That's a big cost. But anyway, Willy Bandar, the ugliest looking cat monkey in Kaladesh. I don't know why it's called Willy or Wiley. Maybe it's Wiley. Wiley Bandar? What the heck is going on here? I mean, so this foot is trying to stomp him, and he's just having a good old time. But this thing's an ugly thing. It's a cat monkey? What the heck is that? Ew. And for 3 mana, gains indestructible, and it just caused a lot of trouble. Alright, we are in the home stretch. I'm going to get some more water because my voice hurts. And I'm going to power through this here in a little bit. Alrighty. Cloudbazer, 5 mana, 2/2 flyer. Enters the battlefield, gain 2 life and draw 2 cards. This is amazing with bounce spells. With that Flicker Strike or Flicker Wisp or Flicker whatever, this is super good. This is very, very good. And this is definitely something that you would want to bounce and bring back to the battlefield if you could. I don't like some of these. Flavor texts because it's like all the Aether charts in the world can't compete with a trained eye of a talented scout. Okay. What does it really tell me about the world? What does it really viscerally tell me about the world? Like, I just feel like there's more that you could give me on that. And you didn't really give me a whole lot. You just told me, okay, this Cloud Blazer's, like, good at scouting clouds. Okay, great. Awesome. Whatever. Let's move on. Contraband Kingpin, Demir color, lifelink, 1/4. Whenever an artifact enters the battlefield under your control, scry 1. Sweet card, sweet design, but it's a very cool looking, and it's very sweet, gold card. Dipala, Pilot Exemplar. For 3 mana, you get 3/3, Dwarf Lord, and Vehicle Lord. And this is really cool. I like this part. Whenever Dipala attacks, you may pay X. If you do, reveal the top X cards of your library, put all Dwarf and Vehicle cards among them into your hand, and put the rest on the bottom of your library in your order. So she can draw you a ton of cards if she pilots or if she attacks. So that's very cool. Dovin Ban. Dovin Ban. For 4 mana, you get 3, and he hoses 1 creature completely. He can gain 2 life and draw a card, which is fine. I like that, for -1. And then -7 is your opponents can't untap more than 2 permanents during their untap steps. That's pretty good. This guy looks like he's got all these like little like servos around him. Kind of a sweet neck there, you know, sweet like suit or I don't know what that is, but that's a pretty cool color palette he's got going on there. And look at this. He has his freak pinky sticking out there as he's playing with that. So, very awkward, but very cool. Imperial Voyager, 3 mana, 2/3, flying, trample. This card is very good, by the way. 3 mana, 2/3 flyer with trample, and whenever he deals combat damage, you get that much energy. What the heck? And this guy, he's just loving the Aether. He's just touching it. He's like, oh, feels so good. I knew, it wasn't until I touched the Aether for myself that I came to know the contained power of the Swirling Sky. But very good card. I think it's going to be a very powerful limited card, and it's going to generate a ton of energy. Engineered Might. Target creature gets +3/+3 and gains trample until end of turn. Creature control get +2/+1 and gain vigilance. Both options quite good. You can make 1 creature a huge threat, like swing it with a 6/6 with a servo token in trade, or take 6 damage, or you can make all your servo tokens beast mode and able to fight a bunch. Pretty decent, probably not a high pick though. Hazardous Conditions, 4 mana, creatures with no counters on them get -2/-2 until end of turn. Looks like the +1/+1 counter Fabricate strategy is in black and green, which does seem to work very well in that, and it actually makes sense. But this is very interesting because this is a super big hoser. This is a sweeper that is extremely good because of the fact that it's targeted, essentially. It basically hits things that are not in your strategy of what you're trying to do. Yeah, -2/-2. If you're fabricating, most of that stuff doesn't even have 2 toughness, so it's going to kill everything. So this is a really good pickup if you're in these colors. Kambal, Consul of Allocation. Basically, this guy hoses and wrecks basically anyone in a spells deck. I've been using hoses way too much. But for 3 minutes, a 2/3, and every time it casts a non-creature spell, that includes artifacts. Target player loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. And he is not a fan of artifacts, apparently. And here's the thing: look at this art, man. His eyes are red. I mean, they're wildly red. So this guy's like really doing something. He's on top of something. Rashmi, Eternity's Crafter. For 4 mana, you get a 2/3. Whenever you cast your first spell of each turn, you can reveal the top card of your library. If it's a non-land card with converted mana cost less than that spell, you may cast it without paying its mana cost. So an alternative cascade. Very interesting. Very mythic rare-like. If you don't cast a reveal card, you can put it into your hand. Okay, so basically, it's a legendary enchantment that says either cast the spell, every time you cast a spell, draw a card, or cast it for free. That's really good. That's really, really, really good. Restoration Gearsmith. For 4 mana, you get a 3/3, and when it ETBs, you basically grab an artifact or a graveyard, a creature back from your graveyard. That's pretty good. That's basically a, what is it called? A Gravedigger ability for artifacts included. So that's very good. I think that's pretty spicy. I think that white-black is going to have some sort of creature-themed, like creature-centric theme instead of having artifacts. So that's kind of interesting that they're kind of leaning more towards being all about creatures than artifacts or spells. Saheeli Rai. For 3 mana, you get a 3 loyalty planeswalker with scry 1 and then deal 1. Create a token that's a copy of artifact or a creature token you control, except it's an artifact in addition to its other type. It gains haste. You exile at the beginning of the next end step. That's a bummer. At least you can get enter the battlefield effects. That's kind of cool. And you can search your library for up to 3 artifacts with different names, then put them in the battlefield and shuffle your library. Sounds like a combo winner. Unlicensed Disintegration. I don't think Saheeli Rai is going to be very good in draft. It might be good with the -2 ability, but the scry 1, deal 1 isn't very powerful. I think basically planeswalkers are good when their +1 ability does something relevant. Like, for example, Liliana, the last Liliana did -2, -1, could kill a lot of small creatures and really stop an offensive. So I think those are really good kind of planeswalkers, and I think Saheeli Rai might not be too good in draft. There's definitely a place for her in standard, and maybe Legacy, but I don't know enough about that to really comment on it. Unlicensed Disintegration. Destroy target creature. If you control an artifact, Unlicensed Disintegration deals 3 damage to that creature's controller. That is aggro right there. That's pretty good. Veteran Motorist. For 2 mana, you get a 3/1 that can pilot anything. When Veteran Motorist enters the battlefield, scry 2. Why does white-red have scry 2? That's what I want to know. That's a weird little thing that I don't understand. But anyway, when he accrues a vehicle, he gets +1/+1. Or it gets +1/+1 until end turn. And look at this. I don't like this flavor text. Look at this. He's set to compete in every race of the fair, and he plans to win them all. Big deal. The guy's competitive. We get it. But does he actually win? Is he, like, decorated with medals? Is that what these things are? Are these his medals? Or is that just some decoration he tied on his beard? I can't tell from here. This art is so far away. You know, it's so small that I don't know if he's got a hammer, and what is he reaching out for here? Is that his thing he's going to race? Why does nobody care about him? Is he really not a veteran? Is he not good? Did he not win anything? Is he not famous? I think he plans to win them all, but he always falls up short because he's like Uncle Rico, and he keeps thinking he can throw a football a quarter mile, and he can't. Voltaic Brawler. For 2 mana, you get a 3/2, so that's already pretty good. When it ETBs, you get 2 energies, and when he attacks, you can pay an energy. If you do, it gets +1/+1 and gains trample until end turn. This is really powerful. This is really aggro-focused, and this is probably something you're going to see in Constructed very easily. But I like this fact that if you have plenty of energy, this is a 2 mana 4/3 with trample, pretty much repeated until he trades with something. That's insane. Whirler Virtuoso. For 3 mana, you get a 2/3. You get 3 energy, and you can make at instant speed a 1/1 flying colorless Thopter token, which is really good. If you can make a lot of energy reliably, you can just make a ton of Thopters and just win the game. But then again, he is also the kind of guy who you could just pay 3 mana and basically get 3 power and 4 toughness on the spot, one of them being flying. So those two are both pretty good options. Alright, artifacts, here we go. Let me get a little more water here. We're going at a pretty good pace. Accomplished Automation. 7 mana, 5/7, Fabricate 1. Color me unimpressed. I don't know why you'd play this unless you just need a big creature to block something, but it's just boring. I mean, I don't know. Ooh, look at this, dude. Automaton. Sorry, I can't read. Look at this, dude. He's got this guy here, and up on his shoulder, he literally has like the mirror of him, who's probably the human that built him. But look at this. It's like a tiny little guy that's like the exact same. Okay, Aetherflux Reservoir. 4 mana. Whenever you cast a spell, you gain 1 life for each spell you cast this turn. Pay 50 life. Aetherflux Reservoir deals 50 damage to target creature or player. What is the type that just thinks things are like bonkers? Like they go for the biggest, flashiest effect? Is that Timmy? Where they're just like, oh, 50 damage to a player, that's so cool. So anyway, that's what this is. This is literally just, I don't see how this is even a card. This is not something I would pick up. Aetherworks Marvel. Whenever a permanent you control is put into a graveyard, get 1 energy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think. With the top 6 cards of your library, you may cast a card from among them without paying its mana cost. The rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Pretty decent. That's pretty spicy. However, putting something in the graveyard is not. Like, there's a lot of flickering in this set, but there's not a whole lot of dying in the set. And it's a permanent that goes into the graveyard, so I don't know if tokens actually count. So if you have a bunch of servo tokens and they die, you're not going to get energy from this. So that's a little bit of an issue. Animation Module, 1 mana, artifact. Whenever one or more 1/1 counters are placed on a permanent you control, you may pay 1. If you do, create a 1/1 colorless servo artifact token. Pay 3 tap. Choose a counter on target permanent player. Give that permanent or player another counter of that kind. So what you're saying is for 4 mana, I can give a creature +1/+1 and make a servo token. There you go. That's cool. Errata Express. That is quite the hype train. So it is 5 mana for a 8/6 vehicle with menace. It's got crew 4, which is quite a big number. So basically, the way I've learned to evaluate this is basically you've got to look at the power. You can say if it's crew 4 for 5 mana, it is a 4-powered menace creature. If you think of it that way, it puts a little bit more perspective of what you're getting for the mana you pay for it. So that's pretty fair. It is common, so I feel like it's not that big of a bomb. Like it's real exciting to say, "Oh, 8/6 with menace. Ooh, that's spooky," but I don't really think it's going to be that good because you have to tap the creatures and then you're very vulnerable on the swing back, and it's going to be very difficult to crew these vehicles if you don't have any blockers. So there's that. Ballista Charger 5. When it attacks, deal 1 damage to target creature or player. This is going to be good. A 6/6. So for 5 mana, you get a 3-powered creature that when it attacks, it deals 1. I think that's pretty decent. Bastion Mastodon. 5 mana, 4/5, pay a white, gains vigilance until end of turn. You know, I thought that was pretty good when I first saw it, but I did see in some reviews that it wasn't good, and people didn't like it, and I was just like, oh, I guess I need to learn how to do this. So, my bad. Anyway, Bomat Bazaar Barge. Ooh, this is cool. So, crew 3, you get a 2-power for 4 mana, and you draw a card. This is pretty good, because first off, you get to draw a card, and then, 4 mana is a relatively low cost, so you can turn into a 5/5 relatively easily, but that's the big takeaway is, the initial cost is 4, where some of these are 5 and 5, like, that's not going to come down very early, so your little guys can, crew it. Bomat Courier. For 1 mana, you get a 1/1. Whenever it attacks, exile the top card of your library face down. For 1 red, you can discard your hand, sacrifice it, put all cards exiled with Bomat Courier into their own hands. Very interesting. You could actually set this up to where it could draw you 3 cards for 1 mana. And if you discard your hand, basically your hand's empty. If this is your turn 1 play, you can just keep attacking with it. You can exile 3 or 4 cards, 2 or 3 cards, and draw 2 off of 1 red mana. Kind of interesting. I don't know if it's going to be worth it, but, something to think about. Chief of the Foundry. 2/3. Other artifact creatures you control get +1/+1. sweet with Opters, pretty good with servo tokens, and all around, just lover of artifact. Alright, Cogworks Puzzle Knot. The Puzzle Knot cycle. 2 mana, make a 1/1 colorless servo artifact token. 2 more mana, sacrifice it, make another servo artifact token. So for 4 mana, you're getting 2 1/1s. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know if that's good or bad or horrible, but I don't dig it. 2 mana, Consulate Skygate. 0/4, Defender Reach. Cultivator's Caravan. 3 mana. Now this is something I can get behind. 3 mana, tap, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Oh, it's rare. That's why it's so good. Crew 3, make a 5/5. But it's a mana fixer. It's early and it's colorless. It's awesome. Deadlock Trap, 3 mana. Ugh, I hate it. So, basically, you get locked in a trap and 2 energy talents, tap target creature or planeswalker, and you can't activate its activated abilities this turn. Cool. It hoses planeswalker. Concoction Module. 2 mana. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, you get a energy counter. Turn target creature you control to its owner's hand, or make some energy, and bounce stuff back to your hand. You can really work nicely with Fabricate and enter the battlefield effects. This could actually be a really good card. It's kind of hard to tell. 4 mana to repeat those effects are rough for me to identify. So, Demolition Stomper, 6 mana, 10/7. Demolition Stomper can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. Crew 5. You're getting a 5-powered creature for 6 that has some minor evasion. So, not bad. Uncommon. It's fine. Dokara Peafowl. 4 mana. Add a blue, gains flying. 2/4 flying is pretty good. You know, it's a nice common, and it's pretty horrible if you're not in blue. But if you're in blue, this is quite nice. Dynavolt Tower, 3 mana. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, you get 2 energies. Pay 5. See, this is what I hate about this. Is sometimes it looks like 6. This is 5. Why don't you just show me a number? Can you just have that outline with a number in it? Come on. Deals 3 damage to target creature or player. This is how powerful they're making Lightning Bolt. They make Lightning Bolt super wildly powerful. Eager Construct. For 2 mana, it enters the battlefield. Each player may scry 1. I think this is horrible. 2 mana, 2/2, and you're giving your opponent some card choice, some card selection. And also they get to basically look at their card. They get to draw their card if it's a good card first. So, not very good, I don't think. I wouldn't want to play it, personally. Unless I was desperate need of, like, artifact. Or if I just have better cards overall. And then I would consider that. Electrostatic Pummeler. For 3 mana, you get a 1/1, and enters the battlefield, you can get 3. Pay 3, Electrostatic Pummeler gets +X/+X until end turn while X is its power. So I can see this being a crazy finisher with Trample. So what you do is you play this, you let it sit on the battlefield, you don't do anything with it, and you wait until your opponent's tapped out. And then what you do is you attack with it, and then you cast all this pump on it, and then you pump it twice. So basically you get it to be like a +4/+4, the larger than life, +4/+4 with trample. And then what you do is you pay X twice, so it becomes a 5/5. Then you do the 3 energy to make it a 10/10, and then you make it into a 20/20. Now it has 20/20 and trample. And basically, your opponent has to block or die. And so, then, there you go. That's where it's good. But I don't think it's that great in the end of the day. Because how great would it be is to play this, pay 3 mana to play this, and then what happens is that they do like a ping 1 effect. And it's like, oh. Or just deal 2 damage to it. Oh, well, I just wasted all that energy doing that. Fabrication Module. For 3 mana, whenever you get 1 or more energy counters, you put a 1/1 counter on target creature in control. That's very good. Tap 4, you get 1 energy, and you get a 1/1 counter as well. That is kind of nice, and that is instant speed too. Instant speed +1/+1 is kind of repeatable. It's kind of awesome. And by repeatable, I mean like repeatable each turn. Filigree Familiar. 3 mana gets 2/2. When it ETBs, you gain 2 life. When it dies, draw a card. This card is nutto. And not only is it cute, and it's awesome, it is strictly better than, Exaltant Cultist, and it, is amazing against aggro, because not only does it gain 2 life, when it dies, it draws a card, so it's very good as a stabilizer for control decks, I think. Chami Curio Vendor. That must be what the guy's name is for the 2-mana 2/1, who's the Vendalkin Curio Vendor. What a loser. He's selling these things. Actually, these are really nice. I like them. Fire Fortress Puddle's not. ATB, deal 1, pay 3, deal 1 damage. I don't think they're very. Fleet Wheel Cruiser, 4 mana for a 5/3 trample haste. ETBs becomes an artifact creature, so basically it enters the battlefield, it drifts all over your face, and then when you crew it for 2, it is a 5 mana with trample. That's very cool. Can do a lot of damage. Foundry Inspector, for 3 mana it's a 3/2, and artifact spells cost you one less to cast. This card is really good, because not only does it hold its own as a 3 mana 3/2 colorless, it makes all your artifact spells cost way less. Like, I mean, that's so good. In an artifact set, like, that's gotta be amazing. That's gotta be a high pick. And not only is it a high pick, it basically allows you not to choose color very early. So that's very beneficial. Gear Repair Orrery. I don't know how to say that. Orrery? What is an Orrery? Anyway, Gear Repair Orrery. Each player may play an additional land on each of returns. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player has no cards in their hand. That player draws 3 cards. Why would you play this card? This card is non-playable, because this is like an EDH. This is EDH insanity card. You know what I mean? That is not a draftable card. Glassblower's Puzzle Knot. This is the only card I think I would play out of the Puzzle Knot cycle. Is the Scry 2 and you get 2 energy, and then you can sack at the Scry 2 and get 2 energy. But really, I don't really like the idea of paying a lot of mana to do that. 5 mana to Scry 4 and get 4 energy might be good. You don't even get the draw card, but you get to smooth out your draws, so I guess it's worth it. Inventor's Goggles. Equipped creature gets +1, +2. Whenever an artificer enters the battlefield under control, you can attach it. And the cool thing about this is that it's 1 mana and it automatically attaches to artificers. So that is kind of cool. Iron League Steed, 4 with a 2/2 Fabricate Haste. I kind of dig that, but I don't know if it's going to be actually good. It sounds a lot better than a 2/2 colorless haste. But getting that Fabricate. Key to the City. This is a rare bomb. This is good. Discard a card. Up to 1 target creature can't be blocked this turn. Whenever Key to the City becomes untapped, you may pay 2. If you do, draw a card. So basically, you can cycle stuff, give your creatures evasion, and you can cycle stuff into. You basically cycle stuff so that you get better cards. And what's really busted about this is that this can work with all the madness stuff from last set. Like, this is asking to be put in a madness, because not only does it say tap, discard a card, okay, I'm going to discard a card, but I'm going to do the madness cost. And what's going to happen is I'm going to actually blow up your blocker and make sure that you can't block, get in with my evasion, and then what happens is next turn untap, pay 2, draw a card, madness that out again. I mean, it is really, really good. Metal Spinner's Puzzle Knot. Metal Spinner's Puzzle Knot enters the battlefield, you draw a card and you lose 1 life. I don't like this. Pay 5 mana to draw 2 cards and lose 2 life. No thank you. I don't think that's very good. Metalwork Colossus, 11 mana. Costs X less to cast, where X is the total converted mana cost of non-creature artifacts you control. Sacrifice 2 artifacts. Return Metalwork Colossus from your graveyard to your hand. Pretty cool. It's like the Deathless Behemoth in Eldrazi. So that's kind of cool. And this could easily cost, like, nothing. But the thing that's awesome about this is that's not some 10/10 with some weird, like, rider on it. It's not like, oh, it's a 10/10 with Defender, but then you have to monstrosity it for 10 mana to make it a 20/20. No, this is just, you cast it, it's out there, it can attack. The problem is that you can have 1/1 servos block it, so it might actually be horrible. It's a nice big number, so that's cool. Alright, Multiform Wonder. 5 mana gives you a 3/3, and when it enters the battlefield, you get 3 energies. Pay 1 mana, it gets your choice of Flying Vigilance or Lifelink, and then you can pay 1 energy to give it +2/+0, or -2, -2/+2. So basically what you can do, you can give it Flying, you can give it Vigilance, you can attack, and it can be a 5/1 flyer, and you have a 5-point life swing, and that's amazing. This is an amazing card that is like a transformer. It basically does whatever you want it to do, and it, makes you happy. So call it Bumblebee. Narm Cobra. Narnam Cobra. Man, some of these names are kind of hard to read. 2 mana, 2/1. Pay a mana, give it Death Touch. I like this card a lot. This is a very playable card, and this is something that you would want to play in green, definitely. And you could probably play this as just an artifact, 2 mana, 2/1 in a regular deck. It blocks all those crappy 3/2s, that's for sure. Oval Chase Dragster, 4 mana, Trample Haste, Crew 1, 6/1. This is cool if you can clear the board. Even if you can't, it still has Trample Haste. So you can play it, you can crew it, you can attack with it, as long as nobody's there, you can get a lot of damage in. Panharmonic, for 4 mana, if an artifact or creature entering the battlefield causes a triggered ability of a permanent control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. Brago EDH, anybody? I wouldn't want to play this in draft, but this would be a fun. Perpetual Timepiece, 2 mana. Put the top 2 cards of your library into your graveyard. 2 mana. Exile it. Shuffle any number of target cards from your graveyard to your library. I don't get why you would do this. I don't get why this would even be a card you would pick up and why it would be uncommon. What do I? 3 mana, 2/3. Oh, Prakata Pillarbug. 3 mana, 2/3. For a black, it gains lifelink until end of turn. I think this is okay. It's not great, but I mean, 3 mana, 2/3 can gain some life. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not too high on that though. Prophetic Prism. This is a cool card. This is a cool mana fixing card. When Prophetic Prism enters the battlefield, draw a card. Already like it. Tap 1, filter that mana into any mana of your mana, any mana in your mana, any color mana in your mana. You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm. Anyway, this is cool. This is awesome. It replaces itself immediately. You don't have to sack it or anything, and it fixes your mana. You could probably do Kaladesh 5 mana stuff. I mean, honestly, you could probably do with all these artifacts. You could probably do 5 color good stuff in this deck with all the fixing that there is. Renegade Freighter, for 3 mana, you get a 4/3. And whenever attacks, gives +1/+1 and gains trampled on a turn. And you can crew too. Ooh, think about this thing with the first strike guy, the throttle shifter or whatever it's called. That'd be cool. A 5/4 with trample and first strike. Sign me up. Scrap Heap Scrounger, 2 mana, rare for a 3/2. Can't block. And for 2 mana, you can exile another creature card from your graveyard. You can return Scrap Heap Scrounger from your graveyard to your battlefield. That's pretty cool, because what this does is it basically sets it up where it just wants you to be aggressive. I mean, this is saying, hey, be an aggressive black deck, and it just does attack with everyone. If everyone dies, you just bring this guy back. Self-Assembler. For 5 mana, you get a 4/4. When Self-Assembler enters the battlefield, search your library for an assembly worker creature card, reveal it, and put it into your hand, and then shuffle your library. So basically, this is cool because if you have 4 of these, it just searches up itself, and then you just say 4/4, 4/4, 4/4, 4/4, and you're good to go. Sky Sif, 2 mana, flying crew 1, 2/3 flyer. This is awesome because for 2 mana, you get a 2/3 flyer. The crew 1 probably can't attack anyway because there's another creature on the board, so you can basically swing in for 2 mana for free. I do like this. Here's the mythic Sovereign, Sky Sovereign, Console Flagship. 5 mana, you get a 6/5 flyer. And whenever it enters the battlefield or attacks, it deals 3 damage to target creature or planeswalker. And it's got a crew 3. Here's the thing with this thing. This thing's like a Death Star. This thing is the battleship that comes in out of warp speed. And the second it breaks out of warp speed, it is blasting everybody as it goes out. And it deals 3 damage to anything. And then what happens is when it attacks, it deals 3 damage to anything. So if you were able to have a servo token and the thing that gives haste, you play this for 5 mana. It enters the battlefield, deals 3 damage to something. Check this out. Check this out. 3 damage to a target player. Give it haste. Attack. 3 damage to target player. 6 damage in the air with target player. That's 12 damage on turn 5. It's insane. So, that's why. It's Smuggler's Copter. For 2 mana, you get a 3/3 flyer. Ooh. That is rare. Okay, that makes sense. I was like, this is really good. For a crew 1, on turn 2, whenever it attacks or blocks, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. So land cycling, 2 mana, 3/3, crew 1, that's quite good. I mean, that's 3 damage in the air, turn 3. Pretty sweet. Snarethopter, 4 mana for a 3/2 flying in haste. So you know what I'm saying about the Battle for Zendikar blue card that's a 3/2 flyer? That was pretty good. Well, this is like way better. Not only is it easier to cast, it has haste now. So, dang, that is pretty good. Pretty good pickup. Pretty good pickup. Torch Gauntlet, 2 mana. Equip creature gets +2/+0. Equip 2. Well, that's good on a flyer. That's all I know about that. Okay, Fast Monitor. 3 mana, 3/2. Pay a red. Gains menace until end of turn. Not bad. It's sort of okay, but I kind of don't like the fact that you pay the red for it, but it's manageable. Whirler Maker. For 3 mana, you can create an artifact that does stone cold nothing. For 4 mana, you can tap it and create a 1/1 colorless stop or artifact creature token with flying. I don't know, man, that's a lot of mana to just start doing anything. That's turn 3 off, that's turn 4 off. You know what I mean? So, I don't really think that's that good. Woodweaver's Puzzle Knot, yet again, something I don't really am that interested in. Gain 3 life, 3 energy counters. Gain 6 life and gain 6 energy counters for 5 mana. You can sign me out of that. Workshop Assistant. 3 mana, 1/2. When it dies, return another artifact card from your graveyard to your hand. I don't know. Is there any sacrifice effects in this? Potentially, but I don't really know if this is going to be worth it. But you could have some Gear Hulks. All these things are like things I would only play if I had a Gear Hulk, but whatever. Alright, I'm going to blast through these lands pretty quick, and then we're going to call it. Oh yeah. Aether Hub, Mana Fixing, hooray. Then we have Rare Mana Fixing, these speed lands. I wonder if these are probably gonna make a hit into Modern for sure. But I wonder if Botanical Sanctum is gonna be something that people are gonna want to play in like Infect. I wonder if that's like an Infect thing, because that could save on your life. But I like the idea of filtering your lands. Once you get like 2 or 3 lands, you know, you're shuffling and you're basically getting all the extra cards out of your hand. But maybe this would be good against like a burn heavy meta or something, or a very aggressive meta. I don't know. Inspiring Vantage. Okay. Inventor's Fair. At the beginning of your upkeep, you've controlled 3 or more artifacts, you gain 1 life. Okay. Add blank to your mana pool. Tap 4, sacrifice it. Search your library for an artifact card, reveal it, and put it into your hand. Then shuffle your library. Only activates the ability if you only have 3 or more artifacts. I don't think it's that good. Sequestered Stash. Sacrifice Sequestered Stash. Put the top 5 cards of your library into your graveyard. Then you may put an artifact card from your graveyard on top of your library. Looks horrible. I'm probably never going to pick it up. Spire Bluff Canal. Okay. And then lands. Whew, man, we were able to do that all in 2 hours and 34 minutes. And the fun thing about that is that I should be able to edit this down into something a little bit more manageable, so it's going to be way less than that. So anyway, well, thank you very much. Hopefully you enjoyed my random banter of this review. Looks like a fun set. Looks like something I'm going to really enjoy. Looks like aggro is going to be a thing, but also the other thing is I think aggro is going to be really bad because of all the life gain and all the blocking. And I feel like the game's going to go much, much longer, and I also feel that basically people are going to be in long, drawn-out games for a while. It looks like Fabricate's going to be a fun mechanic. It doesn't seem like it's going to be much of a question mark as it normally was originally thought it would be, because it looks like you're going to be drafting either a a servo making strategy or a 1/1 counter strategy. You sort of have to like play towards that. But then the other thing too is energy seems like it could be good or bad. I'm not sure, but basically I can just see it being like you're just spending mana on energy on one thing the entire time, and you're not going to spend on anything else. So that's what downfall is going to be if it ends up being a poor mechanic. Hopefully it doesn't, and hopefully it ends up being something where it makes each turn evaluate differently. And the final thing that I'm going to say is crewing vehicles. Vehicles look wildly fun. I don't know how good it's going to be. It's going to be interesting because you're going to have 6 cards on the battlefield, but you really only have 3 creatures and 3 vehicles, so attacking and blocking is going to be a little bit different than before. But we'll see how everything goes. But anyway, if you enjoyed this video, that's awesome. Thank you very much. I'm hoping to do something like this for each set. We'll see how this turns out. And my voice still hurts, so man, I was really going nuts for this. Hopefully I'll survive. Anyway, thank you very much, and I'll be seeing you at the pre-release. All right, take it easy.